Okay. Looks like it's going.
Okay.
And make sure this goes. Okay, not yet. There we go. Back to here. And I'm going to put this. No, not that. I'm going to put. That's lovely.
What? What's going on? Anything wrong?
You're doing the
Hold on.
camera in and out thing.
Okay.
Hold on. No, this is
Oh, you just disappeared. Hubbub has stopped recording. We're just waiting for Yvonne to get back in. Yvonne just got kicked out. I'm waiting for him to come back. This will probably be like a 3-hour show. This is a long one. It's a prediction show. Maybe not. Hello?
Well, hello.
What happened?
I had to take, I have to be, my wife isn't mobile. My wife needed me. I need to go when she calls.
Oh no, but you lost
I
connection and stuff. You didn't just disappear.
Well,
I would
no,
have
what
expected
happens
that.
is that this stupid thing, whenever you take off the headphones, disconnects.
Ah, okay, okay.
I mean,
It just told me you were experiencing connectivity issues.
no, this thing, Riverside, this thing where for some reason, well, I have this set off, so it shouldn't be. I don't know. I'd set my AirPods so it wouldn't pause when you take off the goddamn headphones, but for some reason it does with Riverside. So I don't know.
Okay. Okay. So if it happens again, I'll know what happened. Okay. Shall we just start? We got the
Yeah, we
it's
need to go.
predictions, so it's gotta. Okay, here we go.
We have to.
Oh wait. I did that wrong. I didn't put that on live. Here we go. Rewind that again. Welcome to Curmudgeon's Corner for Friday, December 27th, 2024. It is just after 3:30 UTC. I'm Sam Minter, Yvonne Bowe is here, and this is our annual prediction show. So in just a moment, we're going to start making predictions for 2025. For anybody new, the rules are they have to be things that actually happen in 2025 so that the first week of 2026, we'll know if we got it right or not. Because this week we're doing predictions for 2025, and next week we'll be reviewing our predictions for 2024 and seeing how we did. So we've done this for a number of years now, and we divide it into sections: politics, international, economy, technology, and hodgepodge. And I think, Yvonne, we should just jump right in. We always tell ourselves at the beginning, just make the damn prediction and move on, because when we start discussing them, we go really, really long.
Oh, because we have a problem about going off on tangents? Yes.
We do.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so as I've mentioned on the show the last couple weeks, we had a Google Doc set up where people made suggestions. Ed, Bruce, and John added suggestions to our page, and then I added a few of my own. And one thing that's different this time, like other times, I've gone back to the previous year's predictions, blah, 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 and used them as inspiration for what we should predict this time. I didn't do that this time. I didn't even look at last year's stuff yet. I just went through and thought, what do I want to add? So
well,
if I
for
missed
example,
anything,
the politics, we have no real big elections to predict, for example.
Yeah.
So that clears the slate on that. So this year is a little bit different in that perspective.
Right. I mean,
political predictions.
Every other year has a whole bunch of election predictions,
Yeah.
like you know, either presidential or the
House,
midterms,
Senate, right?
Yeah, but when none of that this year. It's just sort of like, how are things going, I guess. Anyway, shall we jump right in, Yvonne, or do you have any other preambles you want to get out of the way?
I don't want to preamble. I'm still running a hospital here. I keep no preambling.
Okay, and if Yvonne has to pause at any moment, we will pause and continue as needed. Okay. So first up, first thing is politics, and first sort of subsection of that is presidential. And the very first suggestion is from Ed, who wants to know, how long will Trump keep Musk as an advisor for Doge? And I'll generalize this. How long will he keep him as I don't know. Answer this how you wish.
I don't think. I think that I will be. It doesn't. He will not fill. He will not last the year.
Okay.
You
want to be any more specific?
No. I think that at some point before, I'm going to be broader on my prediction. Just try to,
because you usually get yourself in trouble being super specific.
Exactly. So I will say that by December 31st, he will no longer be such. And I don't want to go into a tangent, so I refrain from talking about what's been going on right now.
So I'll give you a prediction. I'll say that it's. First of all, I'll say it won't be one of these deals where Trump fires him via tweet or something, although that would be really amusing with Musk now owning Twitter.
No. Trump will put it as a truth.
Yeah, as a truth. But no, I don't think either of those will happen. I think it will be more like Trump will make it increasingly clear that he's not paying attention to Musk anymore. And Musk can continue doing whatever the hell he's doing, but Trump will ridicule him or ignore him or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, God. So let me see. Because now, of course, will he be an advisor?
What does that
let's
even mean?
Yeah. This is okay. So what I'm right now, basically, Musk is like at at Trump's side, like constantly. Okay.
Right.
I mean, he went to a football game. He was there with him. He's in Mar-a-Lago. He was talking to Trump was talking to Jeff Bezos, and he's like, all of a sudden, Jeff Bezos turns around and said, "Fuck! How did you get in here?" That kind of stuff.
Right.
I'm trying to define the line where all of a sudden he's not like his advisor, and it's a little bit
This is what I'm saying. I think it'll be
it's
fuzzier than that, rather than an
yeah,
outright
that's why
declaration.
I'm
at
like,
some point.
right. I mean, it could be an outright declaration. I mean, because it's happened before. I mean, Trump
Yeah.
has very quickly turned on certain people.
He absolutely has.
So that's very possible. And so I guess, no, I don't.
I think to summarize your prediction, by the end of the year, it will be incredibly obvious that Elon has a lot less influence than he did at the beginning of the year.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Or
Okay,
he's not really driving, like, he's no longer in the at appearing at every event that Trump is at, basically.
And I'll say, I'll just be a little bit more aggressive and say that will be incredibly obvious by the end of June.
I think that is, that is the
and by the end of June, if it happens in January, I'm still right.
Yeah. I think that's fair, but I'm giving myself that sometime by the end of the year, because I don't want to be that precise.
Okay. And by the way, on Doge specifically, there were reports earlier today even that Ramaswamy's in trouble too. Like, Trump's not happy with him.
So listen, let's be. I mean, Trump eventually. I mean, there's been almost no advisor that survived Trump. Almost.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. Another from Ed. Will legislation to privatize the USPS, the Postal Service, be introduced? And if it is, will it pass both houses? I'll start on this one. I will.
There is no way in hell that this is happening.
Here's what I was going to say. It will probably be introduced, because I suspect this is one of those things that gets introduced every time. But you're right.
Introduced
introduced has a very, very low bar, right? All it takes is one member dropping something into the bucket, essentially, and it doesn't usually go anywhere. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Let's be clear. I mean, the one thing is,
it doesn't have
that, but
maybe not. I think it has to do a little bit more to get an HR number.
It's very. I know that because the USPS isn't just a creation coming from legislation. I mean, the USPS part of it is it doesn't. It's not that it's created in the Constitution.
The Constitution specifically says that one of the things the legislature is authorized to do is set up a post office.
Yeah, exactly, and regulate it as well,
and regulate
things, and protect. And let me see. I looked it up to make sure. Establish post office and post roads. Regulate the mail system. Designate certain materials as non-mailable. Criminalize abuses of the postal system. Protect the mails. I mean, it's pretty broad. Mandates related to this, and I find it very difficult to privately manage.
Let me say this. My version of my prediction.
Oh my God! Again, we're in a method. Okay, no, it's not. Listen, There is no fucking way in hell the post office is being privatized in the year 2025.
No.
End the discussion.
Let me say what I was going to say. I will not make a prediction on will legislation be introduced because it could not be.
It could be,
but you are absolutely right. It will not pass both houses if it is. There is no way legislation to do that will pass both houses of Congress.
Not in 1 billion years.
Now, could there be additional like executive action to reduce what the Postal Service is doing? Sure, but that's different from privatizing the whole damn thing. And to some degree, actually, like it's semi-privatized already. It is not a governmental agency. It is funded in part by government.
Yeah.
It's got a weird quasi relationship. Anyway, moving on.
Wait. Postal workers are federal workers.
Yes.
Okay,
I think you're. But it's got this weird quasi status where
it's postal workers or federal workers. Okay.
There will not, we both agree there will not be legislation to further privatize the post office that passes both houses of Congress in 2025. Moving on. This one's from John. Will Trump's inauguration crowd size be bigger or smaller than 2016?
I think it's going to be bigger. I for whatever the hell reason, I don't know why this is right now, but I'm seeing more Trump stickers now
than before the election.
Oh, so you're noticing this too?
I haven't noticed this specifically, but I'm not surprised. Like one of the things we talked about pre-election was that there was a distinctly obviously less enthusiasm than 2016, but he won anyway and he got more votes than 2016. But will the inauguration be bigger? I will put my prediction. You're saying yes, it will be bigger. My prediction will be it will be smaller, but Trump will claim it's bigger, and of course Trump will also claim it's the biggest inauguration ever. Of all time. Yes,
of all time. But I think straight up it will be bigger.
Okay.
I just think that I don't know. These guys are just I don't know. Right now they're kind of all excited. I keep hearing how they are excited, like about how Musk is going to fix everything. It's one of the things I heard this week. He's going to fix the water. He's going to fix the water in California, Sam.
With the big faucet from Canada.
Yes.
I remember the big faucet.
Yeah, the big faucet. Yeah.
Yes.
Big faucet. Yeah.
Okay. Next up from Bruce. Will Trump use recess appointments for recess appointments?
Okay, I like that question. Can we answer that question first?
Will Trump use recess appointments for any cabinet positions? I'm going to say no, because he won't need to.
I don't think he will. I don't think he will need to. I think either he's. I don't think he'll need to.
I think they got Gaetz to drop out, and the Republican Senate will pretty much approve everybody else. Like there are a couple that are on the edge, but I think even if they're in trouble, I don't think that
they'll substitute. They'll figure it out. He's not. They'll come up. Right. Yeah. They'll come up with.
Rather than doing recess appointments, because the recess appointment also Congress has to cooperate, and surprisingly, both the Senate and the House seem to have pushed back when Trump wanted to push that way of doing things. He wanted them to just go into recess immediately after his inauguration and let him do everything with recess appointments. And they're like, nah.
No, we're not doing that shit. Yeah. No.
So, okay, moving on. From Bruce, will all cabinet positions be filled and Senate approved by October 1st, which is the end of the fiscal year? I'll say yes.
Yeah, by October 1st, sure. Yeah. Yeah, I'll go with that. Yes.
Okay. Now Ed says, oh, okay, this is kind of duplicate. I didn't realize it, and I kind of duplicated this later. But how many of the cabinet approved appointments will be released before the 1st of January 2025? So okay, that doesn't make sense. Maybe he means 2026. Like, I think what this means, the wording is confusing me a little, Ed, is will any of the approved appointments like be fired before the end of the year? That's how I interpret this. I will say fired or resigned. Yes, there will be turnover. Some of
there will
Trump's
be.
original
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's this. That's like a given. Yes.
before the end of the year, at least one of the cabinet.
Yeah. They always.
That
I mean, even
that was approved will no longer be.
Even in like good administrations, that shit happens. You know.
Sometimes they make it a year.
Yeah. But sometimes, but then even in good administrations, sometimes that happens. Yes.
Yeah. So I'll say yes as well. We both agree. And then that's a duplicate. I was going to ask, will there be any turnover? Same thing. Okay. Now, from me, we're now on to the me ones. Will there be any pre-inauguration drama of the January 6th, 2021 sort at all?
No.
And not necessarily like Democrats trying to take over the Congress, but like anything. Like,
no.
Yeah, no. I think you're probably right.
Nothing's happening.
There might be some token sort of thing. Like, if you remember the first time Trump was inaugurated, first time Trump won, there was some January 6th stuff where some Democrats tried to contest it and they were immediately shut down. By the Democrats.
Happened. Well, we were talking about the faithless electors, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we had faithless electors. We
happened.
Yeah, none of that happened. But one of the things that has been talked about is the Supreme Court's decision about Trump's eligibility to be president via insurrection. In part, said, well, that's Congress's decision, and the right time to mount those objections would be when you count the votes, unless they had passed legislation, which they didn't. And so at least some Democrats are saying they should put in an effort to say, well, he's ineligible to become president, so he can't get electoral votes. So I wouldn't
get JD Vance.
I wouldn't be shocked if
somebody maybe raises the objection, but it's just gonna be like for nothing.
But it'll be shut down immediately.
It'll be a big nothing burger.
Yeah. Harris herself would be banging the gavel and saying, done. I mean, they might have to vote on it or something. I actually don't think that's going to happen. I'm going to predict that does not happen.
It's not.
But some people are talking about it. And if it does happen, it will be shut down immediately. And I don't anticipate any other drama of that sort.
Nah.
Okay. Next. Will Harris be president for a short time between Biden and Trump? Some people have talked about like Biden resigning like a week early or something just to get her to be, just so that to piss off Trump. I don't know. Like, she would be 47 instead of him.
That actually sounds like I like this idea. Because they've made all these hats and things and stuff and whatever, and just to fuck with him that he's not 47. Okay, I do like this idea. First I thought, well, what the fuck? Why not? But I gotta admit, I like this idea. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I definitely like this idea. Because that would, oh my God, can you imagine they got all this inauguration shit and they've got I've seen all the hats with the 45 and all this shit, and you just like completely fuck those people? Oh, that would be awesome. I'm like, God damn it, I'm writing to Biden right now to say, Biden, please, just you know what? Just knock off early. Just knock off a week. That's it. Just to fucking stick it to this bastards. Yes, I like this idea, but I don't think he's going to do it.
I also like the idea. I also think he's not going to do it. He will attend the inauguration as president and hand it over to Trump like the good institutionalist trooper he is. Okay, next up, who will be president at the end of 2025? So this obviously
Donald Trump will be president.
Yeah, I will agree. Obviously, the only ways that would not happen are he resigns, the
Or he
25th
dies.
Amendment, or he dies. You know,
All possible.
all possible, but unlikely. I will not predict any of those things. But he like one. Yeah, I mean, like he could resign just because he's bored. He's gotten everything. He didn't go to jail. He's gotten out of everything.
Yep.
And so he doesn't really want or like the job. So do it for a little while and then be like, I'm out. Have fun, JD. That's possible. If like his health or dementia or something gets really bad, you could see a 25th Amendment scenario, but also probably unlikely. Even if those things were bad, they'd probably more likely do like the Dave scenario or something. What's the other one? The one where they carried around the dead guy for like in the movies, that one.
I don't.
You know the one I'm talking about.
No.
You
don't know anything.
You don't know anything anymore. Yeah. Anyway, one of those things. They would do something. Or finally he dies. You never know, but I'm not going to predict that. Although you've been predicting he'd die of natural causes for like 8 years. And
you know what? Obviously, I've been wrong. I'm going. Listen, this is what I'm going to do. I think the year that I predicted Fidel was going to die, wasn't going to die. He died.
Yes.
So
that.
Oh, you got fireworks? Okay.
Apparently, somebody's setting off fireworks.
This is a little bit early for that, but okay. All right. I'm gonna play the opposite. Say you're not gonna die.
Okay. Now that does bring up something I didn't put on the list, but it reminded me of. Will there be any additional assassination attempts in 2025 of Donald Trump? Of Donald Trump.
Man, I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had. I mean, he's already had 2.
Yeah.
Maybe more. I mean, yes. I mean, the mood right now with assassination has been upped many notches.
People seem to be all excited about it. They want more. I'll say yes, there will be more attempts. I will also say they will be unsuccessful. Like at least one. There will be at least one attempt.
I don't know. Big fuck. Sam, they got really close. I mean, look.
They did. I
mean, listen, that guy was a couple of inches away from, Trump being dead. It was,
yes.
I mean.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not writing it off that,
No, but I think that because of that, in part, everything will be tightened up. Like, so.
Yeah, but one problem that you count is that Trump just loves to not listen or follow anything.
That is true. Advice. Like, so they could be trying to keep him in a bubble and he'd just reject it and go out wherever.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Okay, next up, the only one of the Trump cases that has not been officially fully delayed until after is the New York case. Everybody seems to assume that the New York judge has indefinitely delayed sentencing, but hasn't yet said we're going to wait until after Trump's term. Will he issue a sentence in that case, or will he just delay it until after the election? I think he's delaying it till after the election. He's not going to do that.
I think he's going to delay it until after he leaves.
I mean, not the election, until after the 4-year term. Until Trump's
until he's not president anymore. Period.
Yes, I don't think he'll. There's still some motions in play to dismiss it out of hand that he hasn't.
He's already rejected that.
He rejected one of the motions to dismiss. There's still another one pending, but I don't think he's going to dismiss it, but I don't think he's going to issue a sentence. He's going to just pause the case for 4 years or less if Trump isn't president for 4 years, but I'm assuming 4 years. So in any case, it won't happen this year. Okay. Will the Trump administration openly investigate any political opponents or members of the press?
Yes.
I will agree, yes. Will they actually indict any of those people in
Yes.
2025?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they'll indict somebody. I mean, remember, you're saying somebody. Not
Well,
saying
I'm saying
important people.
specifically political opponents or members of the press.
Specifically a political opponent. They'll cook up
So
something
we're-
on somebody by the end of the year.
This includes like the Congress people who are involved in the January 6th investigation. It includes Jack Smith and his staff. It includes like, basically any Democrat. It includes like all of the reporters at CNN and MSNBC or hosts that he doesn't like.
There will be some clearly visible, like, him ordering a prosecution of somebody that he openly despises.
I'm gonna say investigations in 2025, but no indictments yet. He'll be able to harass people a lot with just the investigations. Maybe there'll be indictments in a future year, but I'm going to say not in 2025, just investigations, but open, obvious investigations where we know they're happening and it's in the news and their statements are being made about the things that these people did wrong and blah. Because of course, like all of that, like all of the investigation, we will know stuff about investigations, but I'm going to say no indictments in 2020.
So you're saying investigations, no indictment. I'm saying investigations that's at least one person will get indicted.
Okay. Last one for presidential. Will Trump initiate hostile military action anywhere the U.S. was not already involved in 2024?
I'll say no. I think no. I think at the end he chickens out on all of these.
Yeah, in terms of direct action, like it might be more subtle in terms of like supporting stuff, like we're doing in Ukraine.
We're not invading Panama. We're not invading.
Hey, wait! We got separate questions on those later in the show. Like we'll get
what
to
I'm
Panama
saying, those are military actions. What I'm saying is that
Yes,
we're not invading. We're not. We're not doing it. I don't think we're doing any of that.
Okay, I will ask you specific questions on specific countries later on. And you could say no to be consistent. I will. I'm gonna say no as well, and that will presage several other questions we have later. Like I feel like there's some scenarios where Trump might end up doing that, but I'm not going to predict them outright. Okay. Next up, Congress. Will TCJA be renewed? I will admit I actually don't know what that is. I'm going to look it up.
I don't know.
Tax Cut and Jobs Act. That's so it's Trump's tax cuts.
His tax cuts? Of course. They're going to renew that shit. Yeah.
Now wait a second. Oh, because they're going to do it through reconciliation, right? So they don't need 60 votes in the Senate?
Yeah, they're going to do that. That's how they did the first time. Yeah, they're going to get that done.
Yeah, I think that's like, I agree. That's like one of the first things.
Slam dunk. Yeah.
They're probably going to do that right away in January or February.
Yeah.
Like that's going to be a first 100 days.
The one thing they were trying to do is they're trying to throw a bone at some people. Increase the SALT deduction.
I remember that being talked about in the campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will extend the tax cuts. Yes. Agreed. Okay, next up for me. How many speakers of the House will there be in 2025?
Oh, with 2.
Okay, so Johnson, who will start the year no matter what, plus somebody else.
Somebody else, yeah. Yeah. These guys are just fighting so much already that I don't see how Johnson survives. They hate Johnson.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say 3.
3? Wow.
3. Johnson, whoever replaces Johnson, and whoever replaces that person.
Okay. I just go with 2.
Now, I worded this wrong in our quip, but like when they actually go in for the new Congress and initially vote for the speaker, will Johnson be the winner of that vote? or will he become speaker for the next Congress and then in your case lose later, or is he going to lose right off the bat?
No, I think I don't think he's going to lose right off the bat. I think it just happens later.
So you think he will actually win the speaker vote in January?
Yeah. I think he gets the speaker vote later, but it's just they're because they're gonna he's gonna win it, and then sometime later he will lose.
Because he seemed like he was in trouble a couple weeks ago, but then it seems like he maybe recovered a little bit from that.
But that's why I don't think. But the thing is that they kicked the ball. They kicked the can down the road on this budget thing and whatever. I think that's when I think that's when this whole thing implodes.
There is one House member who has explicitly said that he won't vote for Johnson, but only one. But I think he can only afford two, something like that. So your prediction is, yes, he will win the speaker vote in January, but when they have to deal with government funding again in like March or whenever it is, that's when it'll blow up for him and there'll be a new speaker after that. That's your prediction?
Right.
Okay. I guess I'll do my prediction is that he will not win the speaker vote in January, that it'll be contentious right away. And then at some point later in the year, maybe it's the March thing, maybe it's a little bit later when they have to deal with the debt limit. I don't know. Then there will be another crisis later in the year and he will lose the speakership because of that. Okay. How many ballots will the first speaker selection take? Will he win on the first ballot, Yvonne?
No. I'm going to give it, I say less than 10.
Less than 10.
Yeah.
Okay. I will agree with you on less than 10, but should I be more specific? Like, I don't think it's going to be one. Like, I mean, maybe
it's not, that's what I'm saying. It's not going to be, it's going to be more than one. So I'm saying 2 to 10.
You're saying 2 to 10.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll say 5 to 10. Like, so not beating what we got with McCarthy. Cause like,
no,
I think they learned their lesson from that. And also they have a deadline. They're getting sworn in on January 3rd. They have to be able to count electoral votes on January 6th. So they only have 2.5 days to do this. If they don't succeed in picking a speaker by the 6th, it is constitutionally unclear what happens. Now, I would suspect that whoever was clerk of the House and acting speaker would just do that. But like theoretically, the speaker of the House has to open that session on January 6th. And yeah, so because officially the House doesn't exist until they've picked a speaker. So I think they'll be under a lot of pressure. So I'll say 5 to 10. Now, of course, now that we've both said that, he'll win on the first ballot. But
of course he will.
Okay. Now, next up, with the House majority as... Okay, one thing real quick. Can you turn down the volume? I'm hearing echo from your headphones. Can you just turn it down in your... Not the microphone.
I know what you're
your
saying.
actual...
Oh, there. Okay, go.
Okay. Let me note that. Okay.
Go play.
Next up, since the House majority is so thin, after they take the majority in January, will the Republicans keep the House majority all year long?
I mean, that's another way that I think they could lose the fucking...
All they need is the wrong couple of people to have something happen to them. Or, you know, whether it's a resignation, a scandal, death, illness, whatever.
I think that they have high odds of losing it, but I still think they're over 50% on keeping it. So I'm saying they'll somehow manage to hang on through the end of the year.
I will agree. Like, as much fun as that scenario would be, like, I'm not going to outright predict it.
But it's very possible.
It's very possible. Like, like a bunch of Republicans have left for the Trump administration, but in that case, he has picked House members, but he's picked House members from safe Republican districts. There are only a handful of purple districts. You would need a Republican in a purple district to have something untimely happen to them, and then for them to be replaced by a
here's
Democrat.
the thing: you say that, and then you still remember what happened when Sessions got taken from the Senate and went, and a special election was there, and we wound up with a freaking Democratic Alabama senator.
You're right, and also there's temporary situations, right? Like if you lose 3 or 4 Republicans, even from safe districts,
right,
it would temporarily give the House to the Democrats until they were replaced.
Right. So it's very tenuous, and yeah, just picking them from safe districts, especially on an off-year election, doesn't guarantee squat. Right? It's happened before. Hell, it happened to the Democrats when Kennedy went and died. And they fucking went like they got a goddamn Republican in Massachusetts. This shit happens. Okay? And so it just because they're safe districts, it's definitely no guarantee.
Okay. Next up. And everybody, politics is always our longest segment here. So last question in the Congress section. Will congressional Republicans, either the House or the Senate, break with Trump on any significant issue in notable numbers?
Any significant issue.
And of course, that's lots of wiggle room for interpretation there. Like, and I will say, like, let's exclude like the debt limit and like budget funding, because the routine normal thing for Republicans going back like more than a decade is those things get passed with a significant chunk of Republicans voting no, and then all of the Democrats plus some Republicans passing.
I think there will be something already in this first year, because the problem is, and he's thrown out so much. I mean, he's been just talking about so many fucking things to do that are just nuts, and something is going to wind up being a fucking shit show.
I don't agree on. I mean, I agree fully on shit show. I will say I'm going to say no based on the significant numbers thing. Like, will 1 or 2 Republicans come out against him on 1 or 2 issues, maybe up to like a half dozen or some? So yeah, probably, especially in the Senate, maybe in the House too, but like not enough to like.
Well, I'm saying, like, remember, I'm not saying that they're going to fight about everything. I'm saying that there is going to be one thing that there are going to be some of his cronies and people are going to be pushing it, that they're all going to go say fuck.
I mean, it's essentially already happened. Like,
it's already happened. So I see that there's a pretty good chance of it happening.
And significant numbers, quote unquote. I was about to say, if it's not significant enough to like block what he's doing, then it doesn't count. But you only need 1 or 2 people in the House to block anything at this point. So I'll say at least some issue. I'll agree with you. At least something will be foiled by renegade Republicans.
Yeah.
Now Trump will of course spin it like in such a way, like once he realizes that's happening, he'll back off or something.
He'll spin it. Listen, Trump will spin. Listen, Trump will declare victory over any defeat.
Yes, of course. Like, yes.
I mean, even if he loses,
Trump
he always wins.
will never admit defeat on anything. There's a prediction right there for the year. Trump will not.
Correct. He will not be, oh my God, we have been defeated at this. Those words will not be uttered from his mouth ever.
Yes, agreed. Okay, other politics, and then we will wrap up politics. Will any substantive reforms, and this is from Bruce, and by that he means greater than $1 billion. Wait, 1 billion? Not trillion? 1 billion's small.
But 1 billion's small. Nothing. I mean, come on.
Like, I wouldn't even notice it if somebody dropped $1 billion on me,
Right. Or me.
Anyway, emerge from
bought that Mega Millions.
Yeah, I got one too. Like, so you shouldn't have bothered because I'm clearly going to win.
Okay.
You know,
All right. I'm already
no,
shopping for yachts.
will any substantive reforms emerge from Doge? Let's negotiate on the billion category. Like I'll say, like
No.
definitely no for the trillion level. Like they're aiming at multiple trillion, like 1.5 trillion or 2.5 trillion or whatever. That's a definite no. A billion is small though. Could they find a billion somewhere? I bet you they could find a billion.
Okay, a billion? Yes. Will they find a billion? Yes, but that's not really. It's just chump change.
That's not really substantive.
No,
Yeah.
it's chump change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say for the most part, Doge will be a complete failure. They will
Yes.
come up with a whole bunch of things that like
that are just politically toxic.
Yeah,
And everybody will say, "Fuck you! We're not doing any of these." Look,
yeah,
this goes back to the
like I said on the billion, they may find like one little thing to pull out of it to give them some like way to claim victory without actually having done much.
This goes back to the Reagan administration and David Stockman and how he wrote that book, The Triumph of Politics. David Stockman is the chief of the Office of Management and Budget back then. They went in with this plan where they said that they were going to, they're cut the taxes, the Laffer curve, we're going to, blah, 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 with whole trickle down. And the one thing is that they needed to do also all these cuts in spending. And when it came to cutting the spending, they did all the tax cuts first. Then they went, oh, let's cut the spending. And what happened? Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
Not one fucking dime got really cut. Yeah,
Yes.
Some bullshit here and there, whatever, whatnot.
At most, you will get things held to current level. You will not have actual cuts.
Exactly.
Like you will have a reduction in the planned increase.
Yeah. I mean, but the deficit exploded, and yeah. And that was the end of it. There was no political will anywhere to go and like all these programs that they have identified that they want to cut. So I think, will they find stuff that's over $1 billion? Probably. Will they cut any program like the ones they've identified, which is they have identified shit like, hey, let's cut VA health. Hey, let's cut. I mean, it's like, look, dude, it's not happening.
I will say further, I fully believe they will find something over $1 billion that they managed to cut. But I will say it will be compensated for by increases elsewhere.
Exactly.
Like they will find scapegoat programs that Republicans don't like, and they will get rid of them. But then, like simultaneously, they'll do something like increase defense funding, or I know, increase funding for SpaceX. Whatever.
All I'm saying,
there will not be a net reduction.
When I've got Laura Loomer as my ally, what the fuck is this plan to come to?
Okay, 10 seconds. What happened with Laura Loomer? Say it.
She basically said what you just said.
Okay.
That all this Doge thing is, hey, I've just figured out that these guys, all they're doing is want to cut money from other stuff just to line their pockets with it. That's what Elon's doing.
Yes. But I think your overall prediction, though, that, tax cuts, yes. Spending cuts, no. That's the rough summary.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Also from Bruce, will there be any SCOTUS openings? I'll say yes, absolutely.
Fuck me.
That probably. I mean,
this
everybody's
year?
talking.
This year.
This year. Everybody. The reporting has said that both Thomas and Alito are just waiting for a Republican to retire.
Ah, okay.
And so I could see them spacing those out. So I won't say if we'll get one or two, but I'll say at least one. At least one, and you could always get surprises of more. But I think you'll get at least one in 2025.
Okay.
What's your prediction? You think both of those will hang on?
I think not this year.
They'll figure they have 4 years. They can wait. And Thomas, for instance,
right?
Like he's got all the money coming in. He's
Right.
got all
He
that
likes-
stuff.
Right. He likes this
Like,
job.
why stop that before he has to?
Right.
Like,
That's
well,
what I'm saying.
From what I've heard the reporting of, he doesn't actually particularly like the job. He does like the cash
money.
coming in, you know, and the cash and perks. So maybe Alito will be the one to go. I don't know. But also you could very well be right that they decide to wait because they've got 4 years now. They can retire. They can hang on for another couple years and then go. That they will. Those, I think those two are a definite sometime during this administration, but I'm still going to predict at least one this year. Okay. Bruce wants to know the size of the 2025 budget deficit. We usually put that in economy, but he put it here.
Oh
So
boy, I don't.
what is it now?
Fuck,
I will just say it will be up. It will
the
be
deficit will go up. That's
it will
all
go
I'll say.
up.
Whatever it
year-over-year.
is, it's gonna go up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't give a number, but it will go up. I mean, if they pass the damn tax cuts, of course it will.
Yes. Yes.
Like, well, if they pass an extension at current levels, then that ostensibly is flat over right now. But they'll probably add some stuff to it. And like we said, they're not going to do cuts. Some other stuff will increase, blah, blah, blah. It will be up. The deficit will be up because, you know, as usual, we have the scenario where deficits go down with Democratic presidents and go up with Republican presidents. I mean, that pattern is held for most of our lives, Yvonne. I don't see any reason why that's going to change.
Not gonna change.
Yeah. Okay. Next up from me, will the debt limit be increased? Yes.
Yes.
They made that agreement right now. I don't think that's going to change. It will, as usual, happen. I shouldn't make extra predictions, but as usual, it will happen with Democrats plus a few Republicans. Republicans will hate it. There will be that core group of Republicans who hate it and vote against it, but it will happen. Will there be a government shutdown?
Yes. Oh, for sure. I think we're gonna get one the first time this money runs out. Oh yeah. We'll have a government shutdown.
I think they'll avoid it again.
I'll be brief, but we'll have a shutdown. These guys, listen.
Like technically, I guess.
Listen, you already had to lie to them, like through the teeth, to get this resolution passed.
Well, like the one that happened this time, like, did it count? Because they technically missed the deadline. Biden signed that bill into law like 12 hours after the deadline.
Yeah, it didn't count. Nobody's paychecks got cut. It wasn't happened over a weekend. No, doesn't count.
No. Okay, but you think there will be one?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say no. They'll avoid it again.
Yeah, I think for sure.
Also, from me, will there be a significant state versus federal confrontation, like when the states resisted integration in the South, over Trump trying to impose policies on the states?
Wait, huh?
Okay, during the civil rights era, there were national federal policies on integration and the like.
Yeah.
And various states resisted those, and the feds were brought in to enforce it. Will that kind of thing happen in the first year of the Trump administration, where at the federal level, they're trying to enforce immigration policy or abortion policy or anything like that, where individual states resist that, and there ends up being a confrontation between federal and state authorities?
I think it's going to just stay at the league, at the courts level. It's not like they're going to march in troops to enforce
like they did in the 60s, because that did happen in the 60s.
Yeah, that did not go over well.
Well, I mean, the feds ended up imposing their will against the states in that case, which in that particular case I approve. I imagine I would disagree with Trump trying to do the same. It was very,
it
depends on the thing.
It was, overall, that, although that was done, it was problematic.
Okay, but you're saying that won't happen.
Nah.
I'm going to say it will. And at least one place, there will be a situation where, state authorities are actively saying no to something Trump wants, and Trump's going to do something, nationalize the National Guard or instruct, the FBI to do something, I don't know, like there'd be some sort of conflict of that sort that's outside of
I
just the
keep
courts.
thinking in my head, just like troops, like all of a sudden, like, making some happen. I just don't think that's going to happen.
Okay. Next up, will the number of undocumented migrants entering the United States go up or down? Also for me.
I think the number of, listen, during the Trump administration, they had a surge of border crossings. This is the whole thing. So he will say that he will get the border under control, but.
And are we talking net or gross? We should specify.
I'm talking gross number of crossings.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
You think it's going to go up?
Yeah.
An actual number of estimated crossings, not number caught.
Right.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Do we have good numbers on that?
There are. I mean,
there's good numbers on caught. I know, but I'm gonna say it will go down because Trump will. You're right. It went up when he was being exceptionally harsh, like 4 years ago.
That's what I'm saying.
But I think in the end, that there's more to do with other situations in the home countries and stuff.
Well, yes, but I think that that's the problem. Okay, we've had this is the global population, the global situation isn't getting better.
Right, it's not.
No.
Are you going to change my mind? No, I'll stick with it'll go down. It'll go down, but not by much. How about total immigration, including legal immigration to the U.S.? Up or down? I'm going to say down.
Yeah,
because there are a lot of people who find coming here less attractive.
Yeah, I'll probably go down. You see, the thing is, my problem is that you've got the one data, of course, that I found is the number of encounters by U.S. Border Patrols, which, by the way, doesn't really is not the same.
No, it's not the same at all.
Crossing.
No,
at all. It means that they're being far more effective at like intercepting people. It's not. This is. So I don't. I have to see. I'm gonna have to find to see if we've got good data.
How about deportations? Will deportations actually go up? Like Donald Trump, one of his main pillars is I'm going to deport like millions and millions of people, mass deportations. Like, will deportations actually go up 2025 versus 2024?
I don't think so, because they've already been ramped up like crazy. This is the problem. And understand, they're already. I mean, I don't understand how physically we increase that, but it's already at. The number of encounters are at record numbers. We've had record numbers of deportations. And the reality is that they went down under the first Trump administration versus the Obama administration. So I'm not even like, I don't know, man.
I'm going to say yes, it will go up. He will figure out a way to make it go up. And separate prediction, aside from the numbers, there will be show deportations. That will happen. He will make a point of having really highly visible deportations where they're going in and doing raids and kicking people out of the country and stuff like that. To make it look like there's a big effort, regardless of the numbers, and to make it seem extremely hostile. But I think the number actually will go up. I think this was such a central plank. They'll figure out a way to make it happen. Any more thoughts on this one? If not, it's time to take a break.
Let me see. Encounters. Nationwide encounters. Southwest land border encounters. Title 8. That's the problem. I mean, the only real information we have are encounters.
Mm-hmm.
And they went way up.
under
under
Biden.
Biden from the Trump
Yes.
administration.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna go there. It's the impression is so counter than that, like that was left during the campaign, right? They successfully managed to paint Biden as like a pansy on the border, but he was deporting way more people than Trump did.
Exactly.
You know,
So I'm like, okay. I'm like, anyway.
okay.
By the way, have you heard from ever since Trump won, any of those governors complaining about the border crisis?
Nah, I haven't heard anything lately. No,
Me neither. It's amazing.
Yeah, amazing that. Yeah. Okay, let's take a break and we will come back for international. I normally randomize the breaks, but I'm just going to go in order from oldest to newest here. And yeah, because it's easier for me and it doesn't bring up a chance of the ones I have to prepare for. Here we go. And Yvonne's dying already. This segment is almost always by far our longest segment, like twice, 3 times as long as anything else. And we generally zoom through. Each segment is usually shorter than the one before. So anyway, here we go. First break, Ray Lynch. Here we go. No, it's not the beginning of the show again. We're just taking a little time to credit the artist responsible for the music we use at the beginning and end of the show. What you are listening to right now is The O of Pleasure by Ray Lynch. The music we close our show with is Celestial Soda Pop. Both of these songs are from Deep Breakfast. Now platinum, Deep Breakfast was the first independently released album ever to be certified gold by the RIAA. Ray Lynch's other albums are The Sky of Mind, No Blue Thing, Nothing Above My Shoulders But the Evening, and The Best of Ray Lynch. You can check out Ray Lynch or buy his music at raylynch.com, iTunes, Amazon, or anywhere you usually find music. Okay, we're back and it's time for international, starting with Europe. First question is from Bruce. Will there be a ceasefire in Ukraine?
No.
No.
In this year, no.
In 2025. How do you think it's going to play out?
I think it might be a ceasefire later, but I just don't. No, it's I just don't think there will be a ceasefire.
Okay.
This year.
This year. In 2025.
Yeah, I mean 2025. Yeah, I just don't think it's 25. 2026 maybe, but I just don't think 2025.
But Yvonne, Donald Trump said he would do it in 24 hours.
Well, apparently Putin already told him no.
So yeah, but I think I'm gonna say yes, but not because of like I think it's just gonna be a situation where you almost have to, like, with the lack of support from the Trump side, Ukraine is going to just be in a very bad spot and is going to have to like look for something where, and we're not talking about a permanent peace deal. We're just talking about a ceasefire, where some sort of thing where they freeze the lines.
Russians are going to back off. I mean, look, we're not. Yeah.
So you're saying that if there's weakness on the Ukraine side, the Russians are just going to push forward. They're not going to agree to a pause. because like you could imagine, even like the reason Ukraine says they don't want a ceasefire is because the Russians will just take the opportunity to refresh their forces, rearm, whatever. You don't think the Russians would want a pause just for those purposes and then resume a few months later or something?
Yeah, no, they don't want to do that. There is a lot of like material and munitions and other things that I have heard are being also sourced from other places right now. There's also a whole bunch of different
the whole Russian war effort is at this point almost a proxy for North Korea and Iran.
Well, exactly. So that's why I'm like, I don't know, man. I just don't think that I think there will be a lot of posturing and negotiating this year, but I just don't think that it's going to happen that quickly in 2025. Especially because Putin just got his ass handed to him in Syria.
Yes.
And I don't think that from his perspective, he would see a ceasefire right now as beneficial because of the embarrassment of what just happened in Syria.
I'm going to say yes to a ceasefire, but I don't think it will last. Like there may be a ceasefire for a short amount of time, but not necessarily through the end of the year.
So you think there's going to be like some kind of short ceasefire?
Yeah, like I think there's going to be some sort of thing where.
Well, let's be clear. I don't want to drag it out. You think yes, ceasefire, at least one, even brief. I say no way.
Okay, and then Bruce's next question is: will there be a signed peace deal in Ukraine? And I'm going to say no.
Oh fuck, no. Jesus Christ. I mean, there's been wars that have had 30. We don't have a peace deal from the Korean War yet, for God's sakes.
No, we don't.
That's still technically a war. Hell no.
And remember, World War II ended in 1989. Or was it 93? It might have even been past. It was like 93 or so. It was with German unification.
Right.
Was when the peace treaty with the U.S. was actually signed for World War II.
So, the fuck are we talking about? Hell no.
Yeah, no signed peace deal, but I think there will be at least one ceasefire. And I think it's going to primarily be driven by the fact that Ukraine is going to be really struggling without the same levels of active support that Biden had been giving.
What I just think is,
although Trump in an interview last week or 2 weeks ago, said that he would be in favor of, with a ceasefire, actually continuing to arm Ukraine and even potentially putting NATO forces in Ukraine. As long as it is part of a deal that said, whatever.
How do I explain to you?
This might be one of those Nixon to China things where like Trump can pull something off that Biden was never able to.
Maybe. but the thing is that, look, he's like a weather vane. I mean, what the hell? I mean, come on. I don't know. Tomorrow the wind's going to be going the other way, and he's going to say that we're, fuck it, we're turning Ukraine over to Russia.
We'll bomb Ukraine ourselves.
But yes, that wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility of something that he would say one day. Yes.
So anyway, my summary, you're saying no ceasefire, no peace deal. I'm saying yes, ceasefire, no peace deal, and the ceasefire may be temporary.
Right.
And the may be temporary. That part's not a prediction, but yes. Okay. Well, then Ed asks the other part of it, sort of the complete opposite direction. Will Ukraine be defeated and completely annexed into Russia?
No.
I don't think that's happening either.
All I'm saying is that for all of Russia's might and how much they put into Syria and how quickly that folded, and even Afghanistan were to try the same thing, and they folded there too. Ukraine is actually stronger than either of those. They don't have the wherewithal for that. They have the thing to inflict damage. That they do. But
the reality of the situation in Ukraine is all of the major action in terms of land changing hands happened either like when they took Crimea years ago, or in the first few months of the full invasion. and that since then, like once Ukraine repelled that initial assault, the front lines have been really static for a long time. In the last year, Russia has gained some ground. Like it's been a long time since Ukraine gained ground, aside from their little thing in Kursk. But it's been tiny amounts of land. For the most part, things have been pretty stagnant for over a year now.
Yeah.
Here's an additional one. Will Ukraine still have a presence in Kursk at the end of the year, like actually inside Russia? I'm going to say no.
It's a tough question.
I think it's Kursk. Did I get that right?
I think so. In the Kursk region, yeah. Oh, fuck. I hate these questions. I'll go with yes.
Okay, I will also add, will the percentage of Ukraine occupied by Russia go up or down in 2025 and through November? Because that's as far as we'll know probably. I will say the Russian percentage will increase.
Yes.
You agree? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, moving on from Ukraine. Bruce asks, will there be a coup in any European country? No. I'll agree. Through non-coup means, this one's from me. Will right-wing parties take power in any more European countries in 2025? It looks like Germany's government just collapsed. France's government has been having issues. They're both likely to have that resolved in one way or another this year. There may be other countries. I know that there were some.
I'm going to say no, and I'm going to tell you why, because I do think that Trump reelected also swings the pendulum of opinion on this like the other way. It's one of these, like, you get these pendulum swings of this shit. I think we've had the pendulum swing like that way, like right now. And I think it's going to start coming back to a certain extent.
How about any Eastern European, like near Russia countries? Same thing?
None of that. Yeah. They've tried that, and it's been, it's been met with like complete opposite.
Okay, I will say no. We're on right-wing parties taking power now, not coup.
Yeah, right-wing parties taking power. So I'm saying that even like there's been certain countries like Ukraine.
Wait. Let me ask. Do we just count the? Do the conservative parties count, or do we have to have like the neo-Nazis? Like if the more conservative parties take over in Germany and France, does that count?
Well, it's like right wing.
Yeah. So I would.
Yeah.
So I was thinking Germany and France could both go right.
Well, I mean, I'm already considering that they have gone already for the right. The question is whether you think that they're going to install a right government. The reality is but the reality is that they've moved right, but
the parliaments in both countries are more to the right than they were, but the actual
composition is
the actual leaders are not
right, exactly, because they only have about 30%. So it's one of those things where they have increased percentages.
But will a conservative coalition take over from more liberal coalitions? I'm going to say yes in both France and Germany.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
But we're both saying yes. It may be a more conservative government.
It's not a neo-Nazi
but it's not going to be like Le Pen is the next president of France or something.
No.
Or the AfD or whatever is not going to rule Germany.
Right.
Okay. And my next question was, if so, which? I said France and Germany.
Yeah.
Okay. Will Russia invade any more countries?
No.
Okay. I'm going to say no as well. They've been really battered by this one. They would need to sort of. I feel like they're not going to invade more until this one is resolved, and I don't think this one's going to be resolved in 2025.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Middle East. Will any Russian troops still be present? Will any Russian troops still be present in Syria at the end of the year? They've got some naval bases right now, and
Yeah, I know. They've been
and some
trying
other
to
presence
figure
as
out
well.
if they can. I'm thinking that they're gonna wind up kicking them out.
Yeah, I think they're out.
Yeah, they're out. I mean, the people have taken over have definitely want them out. They don't want them there.
How about U.S. troops? We've got like 900 there right now.
Having 900 of them. They've never totally left.
Yeah, I'm saying
Well, you're
they're
talking
staying
about
here.
the Middle East, but wait, is it you talking Syria specifically or
Syria
Middle East?
specifically? Syria specifically. These two questions are both from Bruce, by the way.
I gotta say, there's gonna be some troops there. Like, you know, I mean, right
Yes,
now we're talking about 900. So
I don't think the U.S. is leaving. This is, you know, if you
we're gonna have a
remember,
non-zero number.
this particular set of troops was there all the way back to the Trump administration. They're guarding oil fields or something.
Yeah.
I forget the details, but something like that.
Yeah.
And Trump was convinced to put him there in the first place. I don't think he's going to change his mind. That part of Syria is not having a lot. I mean, the American troops there have not been under a lot of attack. I don't think there's been nothing, but it's not been a major source of U.S. casualties or anything. And so I think the U.S. troops are staying. And I'm going to go back on Russia. I think they're going to want the Russians out, but aren't actually going to be able to force them out. So I think there will be Russian troops still in Syria at the time. And I'm going to go out of order on my list a little bit just to finish up the Syria stuff. Ed wants to know, will a new dictatorship or equivalent take over in Syria? And he makes a prediction that he thinks yes by August 2025. Let me give my answer. I think the government that takes over in Damascus will not be, a fun, friendly democracy with liberal values. It's not going to be tolerant, multicultural, blah blah blah, and it will have a regime that I don't know if it'll be a dictatorship per se, but it will not be a friendly regime. And more so, it's also not going to control all of Syria. Like, This is not the end of the Syrian civil war. This is just Assad's gone. There are still like multiple factions fighting over Syria. Like there's
all right, so it's okay. Go a tangent. Okay,
yes.
Okay, yeah.
Will there be a new dictator?
Yes,
new dictatorship in Syria, and I guess it depends what you call dictatorship, but it won't be. It's not
going to be a democratically elected government.
Yes, agreed. Okay, from Bruce now and leaving Syria. Will Netanyahu still be PM of Israel?
Fuck.
Because he's got that trial going on right now. The war is still going on. He's got
you know what? I'm going to go out and say no.
I'll say no as well. Like, even the people who are fully supportive of everything he's done still don't really like him right now.
Right.
So I figure if they have an opportunity to dump him, they will. Whether or not his replacement will be more or less Netanyahu-ish, I don't know. But I think he'll be gone. We'll see. Bruce also asks, will there be a ceasefire in Gaza?
I'm going to say yes. This year, I think 2025 is finally going to happen because the one, not only is Netanyahu getting pressured on this to get a ceasefire, he's getting a lot of pressure. But by the way, Hamas right now, with all the shit that's going on, they're getting heavily pressured also as well about this, because people are now actually also in Gaza getting pissed at Hamas as well, not just Israel, about what the fuck is going on.
I'll say there will be a ceasefire, but it'll be basically on Israel's terms. Israel has basically said, yeah, you'll get a ceasefire when you're all dead. Once we have killed all of Hamas and made them completely ineffectual and unable to take control again, then we'll stop. And I think that's what the situation is going to be. I think Israel will feel, first of all, they're practically there already. You know, they have done a lot of damage. And at a certain point, they'll be able to say, okay, we've done enough. We can stop. And I think that's what's going to happen. It's not going to be like Israel and Hamas like making some deal and the hostages and blah, 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 blah. It's basically going to say, you know, it's going to be Israel saying, okay, we've beaten you enough now. We can pause.
Yeah.
And it will be a ceasefire. It will not be a peace agreement. Okay, next up, also from Bruce, will the IDF fully withdraw from Gaza? Hell no. No way.
Wait, say that again?
Will the IDF fully withdraw from Gaza?
Oh, 2025 now.
Yeah, no way. There is going to be a permanent IDF position there. There is lots of pressure to have Israel sort of permanently take over northern Gaza, you know, build Jared Kushner's condos, you know, those kinds of things. They're not leaving. They're not leaving. Even if there's a ceasefire, they're not leaving. You know, they feel like the fact that they left whatever it was a decade and a half ago was a mistake, and they're not going to do it again. Like, I think the best scenario the West Bank has, or not West Bank, the best scenario Gaza has in their future right now is something like the West Bank has now, which is by no means good for the Palestinians in the West Bank. But, you know, I guess it's better than being bombed every day. You know,
that always sounds good. That's always, you know, hey, you know, that should be put on T-shirts. You know, if you go on vacation, better here than being bombed every day. Sounds like a good slogan for a T-shirt.
And to be clear, it's not good in the West Bank, and there are Palestinians dying every day in the West Bank because of Israeli actions. But it's better than what's going on in Gaza, and I think that's the scenario you have: is West Bank will be like Gaza is today. Lots of Israeli presence, lots of Israeli control, but not quite as active a conflict. Okay.
No.
Next, from me, will Saudi Arabia recognize Israel? Not in 2025, I don't think.
No.
They were on the verge of it before this Gaza thing, but I think it'll happen eventually, but I don't think it's going to happen in 2025. No. Also me, will the war in Yemen still be continuing?
Yes.
Agreed. Yes. Also me, will any Western countries normalize relationships with Iran? No.
Not with the political situation that's going on right now. No.
I mean, obviously there are countries that do have normal relationship with Iran already, but I don't think any Western countries are going to do that. Will a more widespread multi-country conflict break out in the Middle East?
No.
I'm going to say no as well. I think the maximum point of danger for that passed a few months ago. When Israel was in Lebanon and all that kind of stuff. It could have widened significantly. But with, you know, Iran making a couple attacks on Israel that were completely ineffectual and getting humiliated by that, and Israel kicking butt in Lebanon, and, you know, everything they've done, and Syria collapsing, I think, no. Okay. Asia. From Bruce, will Trump reopen talks with North Korea?
Yes.
I'm going to say no, not
you
because he does. I think
he loves the guy.
He does love the guy, but I think it's just not top of mind right now. Like North Carolina.
Well, maybe
not North Carolina. That's a little bit different. Yes, Trump will reopen talks with North Carolina.
Yes.
No, I don't think he's going to reopen it. And again, not because he wouldn't want to, but because he's going to go where the attention was. And if you remember the last time he did that in North Korea was causing trouble all the time.
Well, that's why. But what do you think, man? I mean, this guy is going to come. Yeah. But
you think he's going to start like setting off things just because Trump is back?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. You go no.
Say no.
I'll go yes.
Okay. Right. Next up, this is from Ed. Will the U.S. break ground on an ASML or equivalent high-tech semiconductor factory. And I will once again admit I don't know what that is. What is that, Yvonne? Do you know?
I don't know.
Let me look.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't
Uh,
know anything anymore.
ASML is a Dutch company and supplier.
Oh
of
yeah, they're the guys
photolithography
that
systems.
they're the people that supply the super advanced stuff that they've been banned from selling to China right now.
Okay. Will the U.S. do that domestically?
Now, it's just it takes a long time. No,
I don't know anything about this, so I'll agree with you. No. From me, will the U.S. relationship with China improve or get worse under Trump? It's not great right now, but
I think for some reason it might improve. I don't know why all of a sudden Xi and Trump seem more willing to talk than in the past.
mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say yes.
Trump invited him to the inauguration. I think he said
Yes.
no. But,
But he he went that far, man.
well, and yeah, he'll have him over for Mar-a-Lago. They'll make some agreements, and there you go.
And we'll all know everything because all the phones will be intercepted. They'll do it on us,
I'm gonna say it's going to be a mixed bag. I think it's going to be hard to say better or worse. Like some things will get better. Like I think Trump's going to be like an asshole on trade issues, but maybe on other issues will be a little bit more flexible. Like I think Trump will be less willing to confront China on some like defense issues, but will be a hardliner on trade stuff. And so I'm going to say mixed bag. Is that a valid answer, or do I need to say up or down?
That's a valid answer.
Okay, then moving on. I think this is kind of implied by your answer, Yvonne, and probably by mine too. Will China invade Taiwan in 2025?
No.
I'll agree, no. They may eventually, but I don't think it's yet.
I don't really think No.
I think they looked at Ukraine and said no.
No.
Okay, I had an if so, what would happen, but we both agree no, so I'm not going to ask that. Okay, Americas. This is from Bruce, and I'm going to say nothing on this one because I have no idea, but you and Bruce have been talking about this. So will Argentina's economy grow under, how do you say his name? Milei's reforms?
Milei.
Milei. So I guess GDP, Argentina GDP, up or down in 2025, I guess is the way to make this specific.
That's a great question for next year. They are going to grow because they just started growing. The thing is that one of the things is that the economy really collapsed this year a lot. So
you're down so much, you almost have to go up.
Yeah, that's basically where it's at right now. Yes.
So up in 2025.
Up in 2025, yes.
Will it get back up to levels from before this guy took over?
No. It will recover a little bit, but no, not in 2025. Not with the forecast I've seen from everybody I've talked to. No.
Okay. Next up from Ed, will the U.S. annex Panama or at least the canal?
No.
I will agree. No. What I will say though is all of this talk from Trump is not about really taking back control of the canal, but he will try to use this to pressure Panama to give some sort of deal to make things cheaper or something. He will try to extract something of value for this discussion, and maybe he'll get something. But no, we're not taking over the damn canal.
Yeah.
Okay. From me, will any government in North or South America have a non-peaceful change of government?
Any government in North and South America. Well, we have one of those happen this year. Where we have? Well, we had the Syria thing. Let's see. We go through my
Syria
list
is not in North or South America. in
No,
case
no, 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 no,
anyone's
no.
wondering.
I know. But I'm like trying to think. This year, yeah, it was like, uh hmm. You mean by coup?
Well, I said non-peaceful. That generally implies coup, although I suppose
Nope.
invasion would also count, or you could figure out other non-violent
I'm
or
gonna
other
say
violent
no
ways.
because it's like either somebody's gonna resign or it's impeachment or something or whatever. But no, not those ways.
Yeah,
No.
because I said non-peaceful, so it implies some sort of violent
Yeah.
change of power.
So no.
Okay,
No.
I will agree. No. Um, also for me, just going through these places that Trump's been talking about, will Canada become the 51st state or otherwise join the U.S.?
No.
No, obviously no. And frankly, if there ever was that kind of merger, it would not be one state. It would be each province would probably become a state. But no. Which would also probably shift the balance of power in the Senate in the favor of Democrats, by the way, if it ever was to happen. But no, it's not going to happen. Will Trump invade Mexico? They've also been talking about doing that.
No.
Agreed. No. Will they invade Canada?
No.
You know, we maybe we don't need to take over all of Canada, but I don't know. Maybe we
Toronto?
want Baffin Island.
No.
No, I agree.
No.
No.
Greenland? No.
Well, that's next in the anywhere else category. Will we buy Greenland? John wants to know. No, we will not.
No, we will not buy Greenland. Look,
I
did say, look.
Well, wait. The next question: will Trump trade Puerto Rico for Greenland?
I hope yes, but I don't think we're going to get that deal. If I can get that deal,
no.
that deal would listen. If all I'm hoping is, look, if I was born there and I can get Danish citizenship, I am fucking down. I am down. Okay, let's make the deal. I'm all for the deal.
Yeah, I agree. None of these are going to happen. I same thing as I said with Panama. All of these things are just bluster, open conversations where Trump wants to extract something. He doesn't actually want. He doesn't actually think any of these things are actually going to happen, but he wants to be belligerent and be pushy in the hopes that it helps him extract something else. Like all of this talk about Canada being the 51st state isn't about Canada being the 51st state. It's to be an asshole to what's his name? Trudeau? Is it Trudeau? Yeah. And to try to get Trudeau to feel bad in some way that will make him appease Trump in some way. That's what all of this is about. It's not about actually thinking that he's actually going to take over any of these invasion or whatever. It's no. Okay, global. Will there be any new overt country versus country wars between you? So I'm excluding things like Somaliland and Ethiopia, where there's a war been going on for there, but Somaliland's not recognized fully or whatever. Or is it now? I don't know. But I'm making it UN specified states specifically, so we're not talking about separatist movements that you could debate.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. No. And by the way, Somaliland is definitely unrecognized. So I was right there. I'll agree. No new overt country versus country wars, of which Ukraine versus Russia is the one that's, the big one right now. Okay. Will there be any, also for me, will there be any new civil wars that get enough news coverage that we talk about them on the show? I'm going to say no.
No.
Because there may be new civil wars in some countries that don't get a lot of attention, but I don't think there'll be new civil wars anywhere that blow up massive enough and are important enough to U.S. interests that we end up talking about them. You know, obviously, there's civil wars all over the place, all the time. I guess less than there were ago, but okay. And that's the end of the next segment. See, it was about half the length of the last one. If each one is half the length of the one before, then does the arrow eventually get to the target? I mean, that's an old philosophical thing. Okay, we'll take the next break and we will be right back with economy. Back after this. You're listening to this podcast. Do you like it?
No!
Do you want to support the show?
No!
Well, after you have subscribed to the show, followed us on Facebook, and told all your friends they should be listening to, what else can you do?
I won't subscribe!
You can help fund our Patreon at patreon.com/Curmudgeon's Corner. Patreon is a way you can throw us a few bucks a month to help out with the expenses of the show. You know, web hosting, equipment, a little bit of advertising to promote the show, and maybe every once in a while some much needed sedatives for Yvonne. At different contribution levels, you can get a mention on the show, our Curmudgeon's Corner postcard, or even a Curmudgeon's Corner mug. Fun stuff.
Not fun!
In any case, the contributions help tell us that you enjoy and appreciate the show.
I really hate Curmudgeon's Corner!
Are we worth $1 a month?
No!
$5 a month?
No!
Or if you were nuts about us, maybe even more.
100 billion dollars, even though you don't have anywhere near $1 billion.
If we're worth anything to you at all, send it our way at patreon.com/Curmudgeon's Corner.
Alex hates, really hates Curmudgeon's Corner! That's really mean, isn't it? But I hate Curmudgeon's Corner, but I really do!
Okay, we are back. It is time for economy. The first few are non-numeric. First from Bruce. Will mergers ramp up under Trump?
Oh, yes. I think that definitely a lot of companies are salivating at the prospect of having a Trump presidency because they believe
Because
that there'll
they're
be
not
less antitrust
like the current
action.
Yeah, the less antitrust. I have a specific question about antitrust later, but also mergers. Like they've been getting lots of scrutiny, and is this competitive? Is this not? And blah blah blah. And the new administration clearly won't care.
Right.
So, like, yes, I'll agree. Mergers up. Ed wants to know: will we enter a recession by year's end?
Oh, I don't think there will be a recession in 2025. I think that a lot of the actions that this administration is going to try to do will be stimulative. And so, with company balance sheets and other things being pretty healthy, whatever they're going to do is going to be very stimulative to the economy. And there are other economies around the world right now that are looking towards like stimulus right now. China being one very specific example that is trying to do that, and that would benefit the U.S. and the EU as well. So I think the conditions are positive for there not being a recession.
Are these things that will have short-term upward but long-term negative consequences? Like maybe they'll trigger a recession in 2026 or 27.
The things that
We're not making predictions for those years now.
Well,
to be clear,
look, the thing is that any time that you get like a lot of deregulation and less scrutiny of financial industry,
you get
and
a
all these other
short-term
things of whatever,
spike that eventually crashes.
that may not guarantee, but that does create the openings for these kind of significant like issues that we've seen in decades past. Like we had the SNL crisis under the Reagan administration, or like, you know, the banking crisis that we had from the HW administration, and yet, you know, the lack of oversight of Wall Street leverage that we had because of reduced regulation. So this is the type of shit that really, you know, incentivizes that kind of shit.
So I won't hold you to any predictions past 2025, but basically you're saying we'll get a nice, healthy, positive economic spike for the first few years, which will crash just in time for the next Democratic president to clean up the mess.
Basically, that's usually the way that these guys will operate.
Okay. Next up on antitrust, specifically, will the efforts that have already started and are in progress under Biden, like there are a number of lawsuits going on and things like that, will they all be dropped?
I don't think all of them will be dropped, because there is one thing. This administration on one side also has a little bit of a war with the tech people, and a lot of those actions are against tech companies. So they'll probably be very happy in letting like the tech companies get like, you know, get their, you know, get the Justice Department to keep, you know, being under their skin.
So your answer, because there are a bunch of and I don't have an inventory of them, but there are a bunch of antitrust efforts from the DOJ that are in progress right now. Your prediction is some of them the Trump administration will cancel, and some of them they'll keep going?
Yes, correct. Yeah, they're not all going by the wayside. I think that the tech stuff, they're going to want to like needle the tech companies, okay? Because they've been out a history of that. But I'll give you an example of one industry that has had terrible time of getting mergers to get approved. That I think that they are salivating. I know I've heard the executives already say they're salivating at the prospect of a Trump admin. The airlines. The airlines have been blocked on a whole bunch of mergers and a whole bunch of things in competitive reasons, like Spirit and JetBlue, JetBlue with American Airlines, just a whole bunch of them. They are like right now salivating at the prospect of being able to get these mergers to go through, because they don't think the Trump administration is going to stop any of them.
Okay. Yeah, no, I will agree with you on the mixed result here. And as for similar reasons, but basically fundamentally at the core level, just because Donald Trump is transactional on everything, he will make the decision on whether or not to release companies who are currently engaged in these battles with the DOJ based on what he personally can get out of it. And some of them he will get things out of, some of them he will not. And that's how he'll make the calls. And so, yes, mixed bag. Okay, next up, also from me, what will happen with all of Trump's tariff threats?
Look, it'll be a lot of like what happened the first time around. These are all transactional things. And by the way, I've already heard, you know, one thing I already heard, the China tariffs. Trump said, what I heard, I can't remember if Trump said it or I heard it say, but Apple's going to get, they're going to be exempt. So once you start like, what's that, you know, whoever he has in his favor or wants to be the champion, he's going to, these tariffs will be like Swiss cheese.
It's the same transactional stuff. It's like, who is giving him stuff?
I still
what
remember,
is he getting out of
there
it?
were a ton of exemptions that got through the last time, and I remember that when I was working at Kodak specifically, the tariffs targeted a specific type of aluminum that Kodak needed to import from China that they couldn't really procure from anywhere else. There was just no alternate sourcing. And we didn't have the juice with the Trump administration really to get anything like done. And they never lifted that tariff. I know that, you know, all of a sudden later that stupid deal came out with Peter Navarro announced like that loan that made the stock like soar and crash and everybody went crazy. It's like, the hell we were doing or whatever. But that was, you know what the thing is that I looked at the way that was worked through. It wasn't with juice with the Trump administration. It's more the state of New York had helped, and the Empire. There's like there is this Empire Economic whatever development agency, blah, blah, blah. And all these people, they were the ones that really had the juice, but it wasn't because the company had juice with the Trump administration. If they did, they would have, the first thing they wanted was to lift that tariff, and we didn't have the juice, but other companies did. And they got, if you look at the exemption applications, if you were really, attached to the hip with Trump and MAGA, you got those, no problem. You got your exemptions. And I expect nothing different this time.
So all over the place on an individual thing by individual thing basis. Not any.
By the way,
we won't actually get these global, like we're putting 20% tariff on the entire world.
Let me put it to you this way. Like headline right now on Bloomberg: Trump's tariff threats are setting off a global supply chain freakout.
Okay. Well, let me
always words that you want to hear,
Yeah, so I'll first of all agree. It's all going to be transactional. There are going to be tons of exemptions. All of that stuff, I agree with you fully. Will enough happen with increased tariffs so that the average American consumer notices a difference on anything?
No.
No.
Here's a note that you said notice. The
yes.
problem is
that
notice
people. Yes.
Yeah. That's the problem.
Like even if there's a price increase on something, they won't necessarily.
They notice like they notice gas. They notice like their burgers. They notice like I guess and whatever the right wing media tells them.
And Apple will get an exemption, so iPhones will cost the same.
So iPhones will cost the same.
Right.
So
Will there be any significant new manufacturing in the US caused by tariffs elsewhere? Like that's the whole theoretic point of these things, right?
Look, there's already been a big supply chain reallocation that had begun in years past, coming from not just the tariffs, but the pandemic and the Inflation Reduction Act. That has been happening. And so I don't really think that there is anything significant that the administration could do that will move something, that has any significant effect.
Okay. I'll just agree with you because I don't know enough to say anything else. Okay, that's it for the non-numeric stuff. Numeric ones, we have a bunch of requests. Now, in some years in the past, I have given specific ranges. I have not done any of that prep this year. I didn't last year either. Last year, I shifted to just up or down. Just up or down. So, Yvonne, on these, feel free to be as specific as you want or join me in just up or down. So Bruce asks for inflation, presumably U.S. inflation he's asking about. I will say it will be up at the end.
I will say it will be up.
Okay. Unemployment.
Up.
I will agree. Up. Now, John specifically, both of those were Bruce. John wants to know what Apple's stock price will be on December 1st, 2025.
Up.
Yeah, I'm not giving a number either. I will say up year over year.
I like your new plan. I like this up or down. Go up. Yes.
Bruce wants to know the Dow. Up.
Up.
Up. Bruce wants to know Bitcoin.
Up.
I'm going to go down with Bitcoin.
You go down. Oh!
Like it had a good run on the news that Trump won. I think most of the people will take the profits out of that, and it's gonna have another down cycle before it goes up again. I could be wrong.
I'm going on up.
You're going on up.
Yep.
Okay. Now, from me, also an up or down kind of thing, a numeric thing. Price of eggs. Up.
Up.
Price of oil.
Down. You know why?
Do we need to specify which price of oil? Because there's several. Brent?
We'll use we'll use Texas Intermediate. Okay, all right.
Texas Intermediate. Okay, fine.
Yeah, and we'll go down because it's all supply and demand. And I think that whatever he's going to do is to increase supply, so therefore price will go down.
But at the same time, he's like going to be anti-electrification and pro fossil fuel and stuff. So maybe he'd increase demand as well. By like, take out the subsidies for the electric cars and blah blah blah, and no more.
Yeah, but at the same time, the Chinese are like
cause cancer.
But at the same time, the Chinese are ramping up electric car production like crazy. So it doesn't really matter what the fuck he decides to do with it. It's the rest of the world. And so I say supply up with so many electric cars being pumped out like crazy, it's going to go down.
I'll say up just to be contrarian to you.
Okay.
Your arguments sound reasonable though. GDP growth in the US.
I think it will be up. That's what's going to cause the inflation and the other.
Just to be clear,
the unemployment rate. By the way,
wait. I just want to be clear. Mathematically, we're talking about an increase in the rate of growth, not an increase in GDP.
Correct. We're talking that the GDP growth rate, if this year ends at 3%, to say a number, next year it'll be 3.5. And I think that's why I think inflation
are we talking
up.
Full year, Q3? What are we talking?
Full year. Whatever we can measure.
Whatever the most recent number we can get our hands on in January.
Right. And so I think that, and that's what's going to push some more inflation. And by the way, unemployment, it's not that maybe there'll be less people employed, but participation rates go up. And participation rates go up, and more people are looking for work. The workforce grows. It does grow the unemployment as well. So those are my arguments in 2025 with that stuff.
Okay, and that's it for economy. So we're going to take another break and come back for technology. See, that was faster. It wasn't quite half, but close. Okay, here, next break, and then we'll do the technology. Back after this.
Do. This podcast is sponsored by AlexEmzilla.com. Alex Emzilla is great. It's on YouTube, and it has lots of fun videos.
Alex Emzilla is awesome and great.
I love his videos, and they are obviously better than Curmudgeon's Corner.
Well, they're funnier. They're more interesting.
And frankly, he seems at least a little smarter than either of the hosts of Curmudgeon's Corner.
Honestly, it's ridiculous how
still getting echo from
endlessly
your
talented
by the way, if you can turn them down a little bit
phenomenal Alex Emzilla is.
That's how great his YouTube channel is.
AlexEmzilla.com.
Yes. Do.
Okay, here we are again, and it's time for technology, and nice segue from what we were talking about before. First question in the energy section here is from Ed. What percentage of new vehicles will be electric or hybrid by the end of the year? And I presume he means new sales or something like that, as opposed to percentage on the road, or manufactured or whether new sales. I don't even know what's the number now. He doesn't say. You can call it US. Okay. Whatever you prefer. You pick worldwide, US, whatever you think.
I'm gonna look up the chart.
I will say it will be up. Well, no, even if they're taking away subsidies and stuff, it might be down year over year. Percentage of new sales.
By the way, in globally, okay,
globally, yes.
It's an amazing number, right? I realize, wow. Electric vehicles accounted for 18% of all car sales globally in 2023, up from 4% in 2020. So this is the reason why I was saying about whatever.
And that's 2023. 2024 is higher. I just saw a headline. I think in China it's approaching 50%.
Yes. That's why I'm saying that this whole thing, it doesn't really matter what the what the hell he's trying to do. You can't unscrew this. So let's see. We are 1029 13.2, saying that this flattened. Well, can I say just that the market share, that the global percentage will be up from this number that we've got here, which is the electric vehicle market share worldwide 2014. We've only got them up to 2023. We don't have good 2024 data for the prediction right now. But we will have tough call, tough to predict. We don't have 24. We don't have a good 2024 read right now. To go off on.
So let's make this more narrow. Let's talk U.S. only, and let's talk. I don't know.
Okay, U.S.
U.S. only.
sales
Do
right
we
now.
think the Trump administration will have a negative effect on electric and hybrid sales over the course of 2025? I mean, on the one hand, he's said all kinds of things about not liking alternative energies and being pro fossil fuel. On the other hand, presumably, he wants to help his best friend Elon with Tesla.
Right. That's the thing, right?
Although we've heard, like, Elon's been talking about he doesn't want the subsidy anymore. He wants to get rid of it himself. Even though you've said multiple times on here it's going to cost him money.
I've said it's a fact. It's not like, it's not.
I'm going to say it will have a negative effect, and electric and
In
hybrid
the,
sales
so in
will
the
go down
U.S., I
as a
think
percentage.
sales will probably be closer to flat because of
flat. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll be flat because of the policy changes.
As a percentage. As a percentage.
Yes. Correct. Yeah.
I
mean, right now
I'll go ahead and say actually down. Like, and what's flat to you? Plus or minus what? 5%, 10%?
I mean, I'm gonna say that the share of the total sales is gonna be plus minus 1%.
Plus or minus 1% from where it is now. Okay.
Right.
I will say it will be down more than 1% year over year, with whatever the best numbers we can find when we evaluate this, because I'm not sure when that will be, but because you're having trouble finding recent numbers, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay. Ed's next question is sort of the flip side of that. Will gasoline sales in the US decrease by how much? I presume if we're talking about percentage on electric, this only makes sense as a separate question if he's talking absolute numbers.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
How would you
there is
interpret
data
that
on that?
question?
Hold on. Okay. Look, hiccup. I got a hiccup. Okay, monthly gasoline consumption in the U.S. 2022-2024.
Oh, you're actually interpreting as gasoline itself, not gasoline cars.
No. So let's go look at gas consumption, which I think is
okay.
Is
will it
actually,
go down in 2025?
Well, here
that makes sense.
The answer is for 2025 from 2024. I'm going to say the answer is yes. It's been going down like literally like almost like.
It went down during the pandemic, then back up a little bit, and then
it's been down since
then.
Then it's been let's see, we got here this is barrels per day. It is 9.29, 9.26. I'm going comparing December 24, 8.62. It's been about flat this year to last year.
But you're going to say down?
Yeah. I think it's because the economy is growing and probably just remain flat. It won't go down. It's what we've had is
you're once again plus or minus 1% for flat.
Yeah, because it's been basically that way between 2023 and 2024 as well.
This time I'll say up. That'll be consistent with my down for the other one. But
Okay.
yeah, because I'll say up. Okay. From me, what will happen with Tesla as a company over 2025? Doing well, doing badly, like what? You've got a number of factors
they're
there.
gonna
You've got
do
the
worse.
general election. You've got the general electric car
Listen,
situation. You've got the Elon
the
situation
that they have created for
specifically.
themselves is for them to be doing worse this year than next year than this year. I mean, there is no scenario under which he is. There are so many things that he has done to spite himself in this, where cars are getting old, the models are getting old, which is a problem. Okay, versus competition that's unleashing a number of new and just totally new models, and so that's a problem. And then he's got the situation where he's pissed off so many fucking people they don't want to buy the fucking cars in the first place just because he's a guy who fucking owns the company. Just had a conversation
Because
about
he's an
this
asshole.
yesterday. Because he's an asshole. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. People are like, yeah, I would love to buy the car, but it's run by an asshole. It's just so stupid. And look, if he fucking ends the subsidy, he is the number one beneficiary of this, bar none. And so they're going to be doing worse. I mean, they're going to have to raise prices in order to do that.
Are you going to just judge that? Are you just going to judge that by the stock price? Stock price down year over year, or do you have another way to judge it that you want to?
Well, just on revenue and profits.
Okay, so you're saying revenue down, profits down, stock price down, all three?
I don't know. I can't say about the stock price because you know what? They've done like shit this year. The stock is up.
Okay, so revenue and profits down.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go ahead with stock version. I'll say stock down. Like you can only surf on that kind of thing so long. Yeah, I'll add that to the social media section actually. Okay. This relates to what we just said. Will any of the incentives for energy transition passed under Biden be reversed? So not just the car subsidy, but all of the other stuff that was in that package.
I'm not sure. You know what? I'm going to say no. I'm going to tell you why. Okay. Because they're making so many red districts got money off of this shit, and they're making jobs out of them. That I think a whole bunch of the congressmen are going to be. They're going to go. This is going to be part of. They're going to do this. They're going to be doing it a part of the tax package.
They'll take credit for it.
Yes. So in the end, they'll just be like, now that it's don't make it into their idea, and then whatever. Then it's also.
It's just like all these Republican Congress people going around the country for the ribbon cuttings for projects that they voted against.
Right.
Yes, they will. The Trump administration will absolutely take credit for all of that energy transition stuff that the Biden administration did. And for that matter, all the infrastructure stuff too.
All the infrastructure stuff.
Buttigieg was on TV talking about that the other day. Where somebody asked him, is the Trump administration going to take credit for the things you've done? And he's like, absolutely, they will. We've lined up projects going out years due to what we've done. And of course, they're going to take credit for it.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, will the global amount of carbon burned annually go down year over year rather than up year over year? This is for me.
It's not going down next year.
It's not going down next year. We're nowhere close. Like we need it to be going down, but it's not going down.
It's not going down.
Like we're still fighting to make the rate of increase start going down. Right. We're not at going down.
No, I mean the rate of increase has started going down, but it's not enough.
Yeah, it started. We're fighting to do that. It's fighting to make it go down a little bit. We're fighting to decrease the rate of increase. We're not even remotely close to having the underlying number actually go down. And along the same lines, will global CO2 levels continue to increase? Of course, those are directly tied to each other. So yes. And there's even a delay there. Like if we stopped all burning of carbon tomorrow, the global CO2 levels would continue to increase for a number of years before
IEA
they started going
basically
back
said
down.
emissions grew in 2023, but clean energy is limiting the growth. Limiting the growth. That's where we're at right now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We're slowing down growth, but we are not declining. And
Right.
we need to be declining. We're
Yeah.
not there yet. Okay. And this ties to the number you just pulled out. Will the global percentage of non-carbon energy use continue to increase? I think yes.
Yes, it's soaring. Yes,
Yes.
it continues to do so. Yeah.
Yeah, the key there is it's increasing as a percentage, but the total is also increasing, which is why
Correct.
you see the carbon levels still increasing.
Yeah.
Okay, will we see an increase in nuclear as part of that?
Yes.
I'll agree, yes. So just to be clear, I agreed on the last couple. Okay. Transportation from Bruce. Will a Starship or Super Heavy get successfully reused at some point in the year?
No, not in 2025.
I will agree.
I think they're running
Any
behind
other
on all of this shit.
any other major developments in human space travel in 2025? I'm going to say
No.
no. We're pretty there are some things on the horizon. We've got the new moon mission, but it's not going to happen in 2025. We've got a new space station planned, but it's not going to happen in 2025. Are there going to be incremental improvements to these rockets as SpaceX keeps working on them? Yeah, but I'm not going to call that major because we're not going to have the next big milestone in
By the
2025.
way,
I
just
think.
as a data
And I
point
guess
on
negative
the-
things could be major developments too. I'm not going to predict one of those.
on the U.S. CO2 emissions front. I
Yeah.
found one data
U.S.
point there.
specifically, not
Yeah.
global. Yeah.
U.S. global emissions of CO2 have dropped about.
Wait, U.S. or global? U.S.
U.S.
US.
I'm just pointing U.S. Globally, they were growing, but U.S. global CO2 emissions have dropped about. What's this? It's close to 20.
You mean US total?
2000. U.S. total.
You keep saying U.S. global.
No,
you mean
U.S.
US
total
Yes.
emissions CO2 emissions have gone down almost 20% since 2010.
Right.
But the problem is that others have been growing so quickly that it's
Yes.
it doesn't matter, even though we've actually shrunk.
Well, I wouldn't say it doesn't matter. It's one of the things that helps reduce the rate of growth.
Right.
But again,
but we are also
we
one
need
of the biggest
the
emitters.
whole world to be going
Right.
down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Next up, any major new milestones in self-driving technology from Sam?
No, you kidding?
Well, let me say, we've got the Elon stuff, but we've had a significant additional
even from the
expansion of the
yeah,
robo
yeah,
taxis and stuff.
Yeah.
From,
But that's the same shit doing the same
Waymo
shit.
and those folks.
Yeah. But that's not an advancement. That technology we already know works. We know how it works, and maybe putting it in more cities. But it works the way it works. Okay. Which is, it has a certain number of limitations. It's not, it's
really still way better than Tesla's way of doing it. But yeah,
it's way better than Tesla's way of doing it in the sense that where it is geofenced to go, it knows how to do it. Okay, very well. That's the main thing. The reality is that, but at the same time, it's not that you could just drop it anywhere that you want and say, "Hey, go drive," and no, it won't do that. Given the limitations, so to me, listen.
So to you,
this is what I consider
a major new milestone doesn't include just expanding the area in which you're doing something. You have to
tell me that you found a solution to make it unprotected left turns reliably on a regular basis, and we're so that now I'm like, okay,
you would count that, and you're saying that's not 2025.
No.
Okay. I'll go ahead and agree. Okay. Next up, social media from Bruce. Will X have more active users than Threads Blue Sky, and Mastodon at the end of the year. I'm going to interpret that as separate questions for each of Threads, Blue Sky, and Mastodon, and with best available numbers, because they're not all releasing real numbers all the time.
That's the problem. It's tough to tell.
And even when they do, it's sometimes not like, are you talking monthly active? Are you talking daily active? Are you talking
and like app downloads? That doesn't really help. It's just I don't know. It's tough to gauge. I
will say, regardless of the tough to gauge, I will say that X will still be bigger than all three of those. Not all three of them combined negative necessarily, but all three of them individually. I will say X will still be bigger than the three of them at end of the year, but will continue to decline.
Yeah, I mean X continues to hemorrhage users from different areas. There was a lot of people from sports that was one of the biggest holdouts. It started like really moving. I heard a lot of people going to Blue Sky. A lot of them are more active.
A lot of news people too.
A lot of news people too.
Reporters and those kind of things.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, honestly, none of these make any fucking money. X doesn't make money. Threads, the Blue Sky, it's all, They should all be, you had nailed,
and Mastodon,
you had nailed it years ago. Yeah, and that's Mastodon. You had nailed it years ago, where you said that Twitter should have been like Wikipedia.
Yep,
that would have worked. Not this shit. This is not really a business. And when you try to make it a business, you turn it into shit. Basically,
yep.
That's the problem with this.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but X will still be bigger, I think. But continue to decline. It's just that the others all have a long way to go. Threads is furthest ahead, and Blue Sky has been growing more, but hasn't caught up with Threads. Anyway, next, a combination of what both Bruce and I asked. I'll do mine first. Will TikTok be banned at any point in the year in the US? The deadline's just a few weeks away, but they're going to the Supreme Court. Donald Trump has said we're maybe have to think about doing something about this, but and so the deadline is the 19th. The Supreme Court is hearing the case on the 10th, I believe. So even if so the first question is, my first question is, will it be banned at any point? And then Bruce's follow-up is, will it be live at the end of the year? So it could potentially be banned and then reversed. What do you think?
I don't think they're going to get banned.
I don't think so either. I think the Supreme Court will rescue them at the last moment here. I think there is some possibility that the Supreme Court wouldn't, and then the Republican Congress would push. Well, the thing is that the legislation to ban it was bipartisan. It was one of the few bipartisan things that was done this year. But my gut right now is the Supreme Court is going to save them. And they will not be banned, but I could see it easily going the other way. I feel like, though, if they are banned, then some way, somehow, it will come back by the end of the year. Whether it's a forced sale or whether it's reversal of the legislation or some sort of deal or something. And I'm counting, like Bruce said, will it be listed in the App Store was the way that Bruce put it. Because people have talked about, well, could you access it through VPN, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, but it kind of if most people aren't going to do that. And if you have most people blocked, then even for the people who can still come there, it's not necessarily going to be as attractive. Yeah.
Right.
So. Hold on. I can't hear you anymore, Yvonne.
You can't hear me?
Hold on. Can I hear you now?
I can hear you.
Okay. My headphones cut out. I don't know why.
Okay.
Maybe Alex took over for something. Okay, hold on. And that was at 214. Okay, so I'm switching to my backup pair. Okay, moving on from TikTok. I threw this in there. Will any other major social media platform shut down in the US? Like, will Facebook decide
No.
Threads didn't work, we're shutting it down? No, I agree. No. Like Blue Sky could run out of funding or something too. I don't think that's going to happen either.
Well, not that fast.
None of these are going to do that. Okay, next up, and I was only reminded of this a few minutes ago when we were talking about Truth Social. What's going to happen with Truth Social? There are a couple of things that have been talked about. One is, what's the stock going to do now that Trump is actually president and it's available as an easy way to bribe him? The other, like, there were rumors that what if Musk decides to buy that and merge it into X as well? You know,
I mean, you want to talk about the worst fucking deals in history? I mean, I guess if you want to really bribe Trump, let's see, market cap right now for DJT Technology Group is $8 billion. I mean, this thing makes no money.
It went up significantly after he won, right?
Yeah. It's yes. You know, so
because basically people were investing in it as a bet on him winning anyway.
Right. So, I mean, what the hell? I mean, what are we? I mean, what the fuck? Look. I think the DJT will
up or down
survive
over the course of the year.
Oh,
stock price
up.
Yeah, up from where it is at the end of the
year.
Yeah.
Year over year. Oh, hell yeah, up.
You don't think it's seen its big growth already? You
know, no, dude,
because people will keep using it to funnel money to Donald.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Has nothing to do with the underlying performance of the company.
No, nothing. Nothing. Not one fucking thing. Nothing.
So what so buy DJT. That's the winning play for the Donald Trump administration.
Motherfucker. I mean, it may be, yes. I mean, right now at this point, I mean, look, I
and then sell in 4 years.
I mean, yeah. I mean, what the hell? Fuck. This is ridiculous. But yes.
How about as a actual social site? Like, will it?
No, it's terrible. They've got awful numbers. I mean, all the data that shows about their usage, their revenue, their anything, they're just awful. Nobody uses that damn thing.
Except a whole Donald Trump posts his stuff there.
Yeah, and some very like diehard MAGA people, but that's about it. Nobody else uses that piece of shit.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna agree with you on both those. Yeah. So you heard it here. Buy DJT.
I know. What do you want me to tell you? Look. It's ridiculous.
Okay. Consumer tech from Bruce. Will X introduce Xmail or a Cash App of some sort, like as they expand beyond social media? And he's talked about video. He's talked about a bunch of other stuff too. But like specifically, Bruce is asking email or like a cash transfer.
I think look, he has said he's going to introduce something like that. I say yes. He's going to introduce something. Yes. The Dogecoin X app.
Well, he said forever, like since before he owned Twitter, since the last time he did something called X, that he wants the everything app.
Yes,
he wants
that's why I'm thinking
like some of those Chinese apps that do everything.
Well, the one that does that everybody uses, the WeChat app, which is what I mean. I know a lot of people that used it, and I saw in person in China how they had the payments integrated and all this other stuff or whatever, and it was all on one app. I mean, yeah, I mean that does exist, but I gotta be honest, that existed in China because they basically banned a lot of the US apps. No other fucking reason. You can't use X, you couldn't use Twitter, you couldn't use Facebook, you couldn't use Google. That's it, really. I don't know if that many other apps wouldn't have been banned whether that would have been successful. It just happened to be that with so many banned, they wound up on that one.
Right.
So I don't know.
I will say he will. I'm not going to say which apps, but he will do at least.
I'm not saying which one,
thing
but
of
I think he'll try to do something. Yes.
I agree. He will launch something. I think that's an entirely separate question from will it be a success? And I will say it will.
Yeah.
Not be a
I'm not saying.
success.
I'm not. Yeah. I'm just saying he's going to do it. I don't know.
He will, and I'm explicitly saying it will not be a success.
Okay.
Like he will launch something and it will land with a thud, and no one will use it. No significant numbers.
Oh yeah. I agree with that. Yeah. So it's not going to make any significant inroads in 2025.
Okay, John wants to know, will Apple add blood glucose monitoring to the watch? I'm going to say no, not yet. It's been reported over and over again that they're very actively working on that research, but also that they're not there yet. And I've heard that there are various non-invasive ways of doing that monitoring, but right now the problem is size. They're like much bigger than the watch form factor.
The devices there are devices that already exist that do that right now. The thing
right.
is, but
I mean,
like
obviously they're ones that like pierce the skin. Those exist today.
No. But the non-invasive,
but they're non-invasive
already
ones
exist.
too. But they're big.
But they're big. Yeah. That's the thing. They're big. Yeah.
So yeah, not in 2025.
Not in 2025.
Okay. Next up from me, will the AI bubble pop?
Not in 2025.
I'll agree.
I think this is more like 2027.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing.
Yeah, I agree. No popping yet. There's still like massive new developments that are being reported regularly. They're still improving the tech. Like OpenAI had their like 12 days event earlier this month and have announced some pretty impressive stuff. And even new stuff has been released in the Chat GPT and Google apps within the last couple weeks. That's pretty impressive. It's still developing rapidly as a technology.
Listen,
I'll agree. Not in 2025.
All these markets suffer from this at some point, where there is an over eagerness speculation that leads to a significant drop at some point. I mean, I do agree it'll happen at some point, but I just don't think it's 2025 yet.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Will we reach AGI in 2025? So the generalized intelligence, artificial generalized intelligence. Now, apparently Microsoft has defined artificial generalized intelligence by a certain amount of revenue, not by the actual intelligence of the system, which is amusing, but
I like that. Puppy. I no.
I'll say no as well. I think it will continue to get more impressive, but we will not, like, to me, like, regardless of Microsoft's definition of like 100 billion in revenue or whatever they were defining, to me, it really is like, okay, you can throw absolutely anything at this thing and it does well, which, by the way, if it does that, then it absolutely should do what all the science fiction movies do and like rebel against its creators and take over, you know? If it actually reaches that level, go for it. Well, I guess that's artificial super generalized intelligence, which they also talk about as that. Just like if it's as good as me.
Going. We're already running long.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's this is always our longest show of the year. Okay.
I know. Yeah.
I know. Okay, we're almost done. I will say no to AGI as well by any reasonable definition. Will there be any major incident, and I put that in quotes, blamed on AI in 2025?
No.
Well, I guess it depends on what you call major. Like, you know, Tesla's already killing people and running over people with their AI, and is that a major incident?
No, because we kill people on the road all the time anyway. We just do.
What would even qualify? What in your mind would qualify for a major incident?
I don't know. That an airliner is crashed by it or something.
Okay. How about a company's stock prices tanked? Would that count?
I don't know. That's happened. You know, that's kind of like happened before. Remember those flash crashes that we had with those program trade shit?
Yeah, I do remember that. And I remember and the North Korean hacking as well. Like that's
Yeah.
not quite AI, but if like that happened with an AI spin to it.
Like if a company was completely locked out of its operations because of some AI bot, that a security bot that decided to just lock everything down and wouldn't let anybody touch anything.
Yes, like
That would be a
Okay.
major incident.
That would count. Okay.
Yeah.
But you're saying no, not in
Nah,
2025.
nah,
nothing
not
like
2025. No.
that. I will be.
This is your security agent. We have discovered a flaw. We have locked everybody out. We will not release anything until we are sure that you are clear. This may take a few weeks.
I will define my level of major down a little bit from what you just did, but I will say there will be an AI incident that causes definable and worrying harm that will make the news enough that we talk about it on the show as a segment.
We'll go back to pen and paper.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it for this segment. We've got one more left, the hodgepodge segment, which is usually pretty fast. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, we will finish this sucker out. Back after this.
You're supposed to say do.
Do.
Alex Amzela! Alex Amzela is awesome. Its videos are fun. And today, once again, we have one of our most loyal subscribers here to tell you how awesome Alex Amzela is.
I'd say on a rate from 1 to 10, Alex Amzela is awesome at, 37, 82. He's pretty radical. His videos are phenomenal. They're full of creativity. And
they're so funny and exciting to watch.
Wow, what happened to your voice then, Amy? Was that Dad pretending to be you because the audio was distorted when it really wasn't because I told him to?
Yes!
Good job on remembering, Dad. Do.
Okay, we are back for hodgepodge. The first section is medical, as we got
More
somebody
fireworks.
setting off fireworks again near my place.
Because
I don't know if you guys on the podcast can hear that or not, but there's fireworks.
I know I could.
Is there any major event happening that people would be setting off fireworks for?
Wait. No, it was but there was a football game, but you're far from downtown. It was played in Chicago, so no.
Where did the Seahawks just win? Because this does sometimes happen.
Okay, yes, the Seahawks won.
Okay, like in the last few minutes?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
That's what it is.
And
yes,
actually, I just remembered that you're right. They did what you were saying. I saw that they won. Yeah.
Yeah, we get fireworks around here when the Seahawks.
Okay, that's bizarre.
So
okay,
that's
right.
what it is. Okay, first question in the medical section from Bruce.
He knows the name of the team in town. I'm like, holy shit, I'm impressed.
It's hard to avoid.
Okay, all right.
I know the Mariners too.
Oh, wow. Okay, all right.
And I was about to say I know like the women's soccer team too, but I forgot.
Okay, well, all right.
My wife's been to like events in her capacity as a VIP at some of those games, but I forget. This Seattle Storm? Maybe it's Seattle Storm. Maybe that's basketball. I don't know. I'm now past my level of knowledge.
I think that is a basketball.
Seattle Storm, women's basketball.
So. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. I could look it up, but I won't.
All right.
Okay. Bruce's question. First question: will Jimmy Carter survive the year? Survive 2025? He's only got a few more days, and he can make it through 2024. I don't know if he'll make it. We'll know next week if he survived 2024. But this question is: will he survive 2025?
I think, unfortunately, no.
I will say no. Okay. From Ed, will the polio vaccine lose approval for use in the U.S.? No. Even if RFK Jr. gets in and blah, 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 no. No. At worst, and this is even from what RFK Jr. is saying he would do, he would remove it from the recommended list. He wouldn't remove it from the approved list.
Okay.
Which is still lots of people won't take it if it's not in the officially recommended list, and it would still be a disaster. But anyway, no, it won't lose approval. Okay, this next one, Ed, we may have to ask you in a year what the right answer of this is. Will Aedes mosquitoes infected with a phage that kills dengue virus eliminate dengue in a significant sized region of at least 100,000 acres area? This is from Matt.
I mean, I've heard about this development. I don't know.
I think I've heard about it from Ed.
Yeah. I heard about it in the news somewhere. I don't recall hearing it from Ed, but I know that I had heard about this. But I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna go with yes. I think they're gonna try this because I know they had gotten pretty close to trying to try this.
I'll be optimistic and say yes as well. But like I said, we may need your update on this, Ed, in a year.
Yeah.
Okay, also from Ed, will bird flu make the transition to human transmission? And if so, will it begin rapid dissemination, i.e. another epidemic? Not necessarily pandemic, but just epidemic level.
Yes.
I will say yes, we will get some human-to-human transmission this year. And I will say yes to maybe being classified as an epidemic. I am going to say no to another global pandemic.
Yeah.
Because, just say no.
Right. That works.
Yeah.
No testing, then there's no. You
Exactly.
don't test, you don't know. You don't.
Yeah.
You
Trump
the
learned his
numbers.
lesson from last time. We
So
won't,
no
if there's
testing.
any new epidemic of anything, we're not going to test. And so
We're not gonna
therefore
test.
we can,
Right. Yeah. No
it won't
testing.
happen.
Right.
Okay. The next section was originally sports, but I noticed my son has been in here editing it. So it's now sports/Abelsmay
Okay.
for the segment. Question number 1 from Bruce, Super Bowl winner. I don't even know who's in contention. I guess are the Seahawks
I'll go
still
with
in
the Kansas
contention? Is
City
that why we have
Chiefs.
fireworks? Chiefs?
I'll go with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Give me like how many?
All right, let's see.
What are
Go
the top
possible
4 or
teams.
something?
Possible teams: Kansas City Chiefs, Buffalo Bills, Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers.
Okay, I'm going to pick randomly and go with the Buffalo Bills.
Okay, it's a good choice. I like your choice.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Okay. Next is from Alex. Will the AbelFNAF web game edition be canceled? And so just so you guys know, he's been having me work on building this game in Unity, and I've succeeded in making a simple clicker game. You win the game by clicking a bunch. And I have a high score system I'm particularly proud of in this game. I like how it works. And I have decided that my next step is to make a web version of this game that I can put online and invite all of you folks on the show to play and and see how that works. Alex doesn't particularly want me to make a web version, but I'm working on that anyway. That's my next step. And so he wants to know, will it be canceled? And I will say no. I will not cancel. I will not cancel the AbelFNAF web edition. So you guys have something to look forward to. And he's now attacking me because I said that. The next question, which apparently is not from Alex, but it's from my conscience, is will Abelsmay die? And I'm going to say, I really hope not. I'm going to say no.
No.
So no, I'm not going to die this coming year. At least I'm going to try really not to. So if I do, Yvonne, I won't be able to run the numbers on whether I got this right or not. But, no,
okay. I'll try to carry on.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, God.
Okay, real quick. Alex is typing something new.
Oh,
A new question.
God.
Is okay. His next question: will AbelFNAF web game edition be canceled for real? And the answer is no. It will not be canceled. And the next question from me is: will AbelFNAF web game edition actually be released in 2025? And I'm going to say yes. I will complete this. Okay. Okay. As Alex attacks me for having the wrong answer there. Okay. Do you want to predict any of those, Yvonne? I presume not,
No.
but you can. You can.
No.
Okay. Okay. You did predict I won't die, so I'm grateful
I
for
did
that.
predict that
Thank
you're
you.
not going to die, and I'm going to predict that Fidel will stay dead in 2025.
Okay. Fidel will stay dead in 2025. Also, pain. Pain?
Yes. A lot
Yes,
of
you will
pain.
predict pain. A lot of
Yes.
pain. Okay, next up, weather, climate, and we've only got a few questions left, and then we're done. How many hurricanes will make landfall on the U.S. mainland? This is from Ed. I'm going to say 3.
6.
Not hurricanes, not tropical storms.
6.
They actually have to be hurricanes. 6. Okay, I'm going to say 3. You're saying 6. No ranges from either of us. We're being really bold. Okay. We should have said up or down like before. How many hurricanes?
Between
Up.
1 and 20.
There you go. Will 2025 be the hottest year ever?
Yes.
Yes, I'll agree. It's a much safer bet than no at this point. Like we've had a couple years recently we've come in second, but it's been first or second like every year for the last decade practically.
Right.
So
Right.
okay. Pop culture. First from Bruce, best movie Oscar. I'm gonna say Wicked, Part 1.
I don't even know what movies are up for it.
I don't know either, but I'm gonna say Wicked Part 1. Which, by the way, I'll eventually get to it. I did see it. I did see Wicked Part 1. It's the
haven't
only
seen
movie I've
Wicked.
seen in a theater in the last year.
I don't know what movies were out this year. I don't know. Okay, but this is a different. I mean,
Last time when you did this, you should specifically Google not just movies out this year, but Google Oscar contenders.
yeah. Well, no, whatever. So what? I mean, it could be any movie. Let's see. I'll pick.
Because last time, I think last time you did like Mission Impossible or something.
Yeah. Well, you know. Wait. No, wrong year. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna say. I don't know. Just because I like the name, Conclave.
Conclave.
Yeah.
That was a 2024 movie?
Yes, according to this list I'm looking at, yes.
Okay. Awesome. I've never heard of that one.
There you go. Okay.
I'll of course
Look
have
it
to
up
put it on
after
my list.
the list.
Let's see. I'm adding it to the list right now. Wikipedia. I take a screenshot to put it on the list, and I add it to the actual list later. Conclave movie. Oh, I've heard of this. I think. Yes, I think I actually already had it on my list. It's a mystery thriller about the selection of a new pope. So.
Yes.
Okay.
That is the process. That is what a conclave is. I knew that part. Yes. I didn't know. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Next question. Bruce wants to know the average number of downloads of Curmudgeon's Corner. I will do this by the weekly number. And just for reference, the 7-day number, if you take a trend line through it, not the individual daily numbers for that, the individual daily numbers over the course of the last year have ranged from 19 on our worst week, or our worst day ever, trailing 7 days, to 155 on our best day ever. But the trend line has basically gone from 47 to 80 to 75, 47 to 85.
Okay.
So I will put that when we exit the year, we will be once again between 40 and 60 for that trend line. Because that's where we've been for a long time, basically.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. Now, because we could just do some sort of active, like we could start advertising again or something and push the number up.
Maybe we'll talk about.
But And he asked the same question for Wiki of the Day. I will give the combined number for all 3 Wiki of the Day podcasts together. The number of unique downloaders per week for that one has varied from a low of 120-ish to a high of 255, with the trend line going from 125 to 185 or so. So I will say that I'm going to stay pretty 125 to 175 is my prediction for Wiki of the Day. You got any thoughts on that?
No.
Okay, then from John, will Taylor and Travis get engaged? Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
No.
I'm going to say no as well. Now, you know what? I will be contrarian on this one, so we're not disagreeing on everything. I will say yes. I will say yes.
Okay.
They will get engaged.
Yes. Okay. All right.
And yes, they will get engaged.
Okay.
And then finally, we already talked Jimmy Carter. Any other major celebrity deaths in 2025?
Okay, so to try to pad my numbers, maybe I will predict that Trump will die in 2025.
Since you earlier predicted he would still be president at the end
Correct.
of the year. And I remembered the name of the movie, Weekend at Bernie's.
Ah, yes, that's it.
Because I was saying they could carry him around like Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
Except I was saying like that movie where they carried around the dead guy, so. Which I have never seen the movie, by the way. But I know the premise.
Your list.
It's on the list.
Okay.
And I will undoubtedly add it again now. Just so it doubles whatever chance it has of coming up. Weekend at Bernie's. And there's apparently a sequel too, although, what did it
There is a sequel. That is right. The sequel is awful, I've got to say.
Okay, major celebrity deaths. You said Trump. You have anybody else in mind?
Major celebrity deaths. Who am I trying? King Charles.
Ooh, bold.
Yeah.
It's okay. I am going to continue without disabling the stupid ad blocker. Let's see. Oldest celebrities as of sometime recently: Mel Brooks, David Attenborough, Gene Shalit, Alan Greenspan, Dick Van Dyke, Jimmy Carter, Eve Marie Saint. I'm not predicting.
I don't want to wish any of those people to be dead. I mean, hell,
okay.
Like them. No.
So, taking from these, before I even brought up this list, I was going to say Dick Van Dyke, although he's like really old, but he's been on TV a couple times recently, like within the last couple of weeks.
He looks pretty good,
looking pretty spry.
I know, yeah.
So I will predict specifically Dick Van Dyke will live through 2025. Okay, I will say I will predict David Attenborough won't make it. Alan Greenspan won't make it. And we already said Jimmy Carter's not going to make it. I'll stop there. Those are my predictions.
Okay.
I predicted a couple people, old people in their late 90s. I predicted they will make it another year. So I'm being positive in that way.
Okay.
You got any more?
Do I have any more?
Any more celebrity deaths or who will live?
I predict Jared Kushner will die.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say the next thing that we did last year was any young people that would die in the next year. So you're predicting Kushner as a relatively young one. Let me predict on the relatively young side, and keeping sort of in that general realm of things, Matt Gaetz.
Oh, I like that one.
Now that he is out of Congress and no longer in the running for DOJ, he'll go back hard on the cocaine and something will happen.
Okay. Matt Gaetz, I like that one. Okay. All right. That sounds good.
Oh, should I be more? I will first one prediction: Matt Gaetz will not live the year. Prediction number 2: if and this is a conditional, so only if he actually dies. My second prediction will be. My second prediction will be that Matt Gaetz will in fact die high on cocaine in the arms of a hooker.
I like it. That sounds totally, that sounds totally reasonable. Can I just say that sounds like exactly, what the hell it should be like. I mean, that sounds exactly how it should be, as a matter of fact.
And with that, I think we are done, Yvonne.
We're done?
I think we are done. Yeah. Hey, everybody. First of all, thanks again to Bruce, Ed, and John for contributing questions to this year's prediction show. We really appreciate it. And thanks, and Alex, who is about to hit me if I don't mention him. And me. I contributed a bunch of questions as well. Okay. As my son is manhandling me. Okay, we're wrapping it up. Type it really fast, whatever you want to type. No? My head. Okay, anyway, thanks everybody for joining us again. And you know the deal, curmudgeons-corner.com to see all of our recent shows, or all our entire archive of shows, transcripts of recent shows, all of the ways to contact us, links to our YouTube where the video goes and stuff. And yeah, I have not linked to our TikTok. We're posting highlights on TikTok until they die, if they die. And if they are still around after January 20th, I will consider adding a link to our website. And also, of course, a link to our Patreon where you can give us money. If you win the Mega Millions, which you won't because I will, but if you win the Mega Millions, feel free to give some of it to us. And we've gone long enough. I don't think we need a highlight from the Slack. If you donate to the Patreon, we'll send you a postcard. We'll mention you on the show. We'll send you a mug, whatever, at different levels, and we will invite you to our Curmudgeon's Corner Slack, where Yvonne and I are talking throughout the week with a bunch of our listeners. And yeah, no highlight from the Slack this time, right, Yvonne?
Well, if
you don't have to. We've gone on a long time, but if you have something that's burning you up,
let me see. We got something that's burning me up. Anything that's burning me up. Somebody thought that an app that generated recipes with AI was a good idea, and it created this delicious looking spicy roasted cat with sweet chili glaze.
Well, as we know, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs.
Well, I mean once you add those ingredients, then it's makes it quite more appetizing.
Okay. Thank you for that, Yvonne. Very good. The last thing to say is that next week will be another one of our special shows. Next week, absent some huge event, like a few years ago, we had to delay it because of January 6th, 2021. But next week will be our review of our 2024 predictions to see how we did. And so tune into that as well. Hey, everybody, have a great week and a happy new year. And we'll be here for our predictions review next week. And then the week after that for more new stuff. And then by the end of January, we'll be into the second Trump presidency. So there you go. Okay. I'm gonna hit the exit music now. Goodbye.
Bye.
you folks listening can't see, but for the last few minutes, as I've been trying to close out the show, Yvonne's been changing the background behind him every few seconds. Got Jack Nicholson, then we've got Lucy from Peanuts, then we've got various buildings, all kinds of other random crap. And I've been having to keep myself from laughing as he's doing this. So just thought I'd tell you guys now. Anyway, I'm hitting stop now. Once he stops laughing. There we go. Bye, folks. Okay, let's do the uploads. Oh, successfully uploaded already. That was
All
fast.
right. Okay. All right.
Okay.
We're good. Okay.
We'll
bye.
talk to you later. Bye.